This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season
on ABC Radio,
ABC Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listener.
Look for the AFL button.
Welcome to the MCG, where it's Dusty's stage as Dustin Martin is set to play his 300th AFL game for the Tigers. The end of a golden era. Martin was the centre star in Richmond's 3 premierships in 4 years, winning 3 Norm Smith medals and a key contributor in breaking the 37-year premiership drought. He's set to become just the 7th Richmond player to reach the 300-game mark, and he might be the greatest Tiger of them all. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden to call all the action. There's no late changes with Kane McAuliffe and Luke Bruce, the respective subs this afternoon, and the concourse is heaving, so much so as there's Dusty's 300 Barber Club. So for any Tigers fans wanting to get a look-alike Dustin Martin haircut, you've been able to get that done down below. And the bars around Richmond as the fans have streamed into the MCG. We were expecting somewhere around 80,000. That's been up to 85,000. And as we look at the back of the Shane Warne stand, there are fans sitting in the back row. So we could be in for a big afternoon. Lauren Borden alongside me. Welcome to you, Loz.
Hello, Clinchy. It's lovely to be here on such a big occasion for Richmond and Dustin Martin. It was crazy, like you mentioned, driving through Richmond just to get to the ground. All the scarves you could see and people making their way into the ground. But it could quite well be the biggest home and away crowd for these two sides. And Dustin Martin's barbershop was completely full. So lines were coming out the door to get those haircuts done. And it didn't matter how old you were. There were little kids, which I expected. But I also saw 50-year-old, 60-year-old men getting their haircuts just like Dustin Martin. So it should be a pretty good occasion here when you look around and see how many people have packed the MCG. That is it, isn't it? It's the occasion to be a part of it, and so many Richmond fans who have joined the success of the last few years are wanting to be here to see Dustin Martin being celebrated. The Tigers claimed their second win of the season last Thursday night against the Crows. They're buoyed by the return of Tom Lynch, who makes his return, so comes back right in the nick of time to celebrate the occasion. On the other hand, the Hawks are 6 wins and 7 losses, and having started the season winless in the opening 5 rounds, they've now got on a roll, winning 5 of the last 6. And have been in great form, winning their last 4 consecutive. Lloyd Meek and Nick Watson come back in for the Hawks, although they haven't won against the Tigers since 2020. The St Kilda champion Nathan Burke is here and ready to go for another Saturday afternoon. Welcome to you, Burkie.
Hello, Clinchy. Hello, Loz. Yes, it was amazing coming in. The car park was only open to sort of ticket holders, so I thought, it doesn't look like there's a lot here, but as soon as I hit that concourse, the yellow and black were just overwhelmed me. And even looking around the stands here now, I know there will be some Hawthorn supporters here, but if this Richmond mob get up and yelling, if there was a roof on, it would certainly knock it off.
What's it like when you have these big milestone occasions? We know so little about Dustin Martin. He likes to let his football do the talking, yet this week it has allowed us to reflect upon everything he's contributed to the game. And in some ways, there's a nice fitting piece of history around the fact that it's all what happens on the field.
You made me reflect on my 300th, Clinchy. It wasn't quite 80,000 people at the MCG. It was 8,000 people at Manuka Oval in Canberra. So
the nation's capital.
Slightly different, but these boys, they'll... You say, look, they're professional footballers. They shouldn't give more effort from week to week, whether the game is at Manuka Oval or whether it's here at the MCG. You shouldn't give more. But you just can't help think that they love Dusty, they love what he's been able to do for this club and the success that he's helped bring them. Right from the start of the week, they were to be attuned to this game. And they'll be thinking about how good we're going to play on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and just the build-up to be here. That's the difference. They'll give the same effort, but the build-up just makes them really more focused. And I dare say they will leave no stone unturned to make this a great day for Dusty.
Hawthorn coach Sam Mitchell said they don't mind playing their role in the occasion this afternoon to play the villain, and happy to take away the celebrations, hopefully at the final siren. Dustin Martin heads round to the punt road end, and he's in the goal square in front of the Richmond faithful, and it's all in readiness in the countdown on the big screen. Round 14 of the AFL. Richmond taking on Hawthorn. Dustin Martin in his 300th match. He becomes the 7th Tiger to do so, and he joins some of the all-time greats, including Kevin Bartlett, Jack Revolt, Jack Dyer, Trent Cotchin, Shane Edwards and Francis Burke. And of course, a couple of them he was premiership teammates alongside. So the bars have been packed. The punt road end is absolutely chock-a-block, and everyone is in readiness 30 seconds early for the occasion as it ticks down on the big screen. The Tigers and the Hawks in Dustin Martin's 300th. Here's Lauren Borden.
It'll be Meek and Nankervis in the middle. for their sides. A perfect bounce to start today's match. Tapped down by Meek. He'll chase after it, push it forward. Picked up by Newcombe. Hand passes backwards towards Hardwick. Runs inside defensive 50. Quick kick away. It'll be Jack, who takes the mark in his 50th game. A little milestone also for the Hawk player there. Hand pass to Impey. He hand passes to Warple, who can get it back to Impey. Fumbles the ball, then trips over. Under plenty of pressure, Mansell takes the footy over the line for a throw-in right in front of the members' stand here at a packed MCG. Nearly 30 seconds played, no score in the opening quarter.
James Sicily's picking up Dusty Martin. It's great to see Tommy Lynch back there in the Tigers forward line as well. Been a long time coming.
Not far from where Ian Cohen is watching on, Coase. The seats are a premium in the front row this afternoon.
They certainly are. Normally we've got plenty of luxury when 17 plays 12, but not today. It's a packed house with a wind slightly towards the front road end.
Dow emerges for the Tigers and kicks up towards half forward, but Cumberland was out position and Jack Scrimshaw takes the mark for the Hawks at right half back. Hawthorn in their traditional brown and gold strip with the white shorts. The Tigers in their dark black outfit with the gold sash. There's Jaff. His brother will make his debut for the Magpies tomorrow against North Melbourne. Great to see Chankoof Jaff back in the lineup. Kicks up towards Nankervis. Can't take the mark. Bolter gets a hand pass out to Richmond. For Taranto. Links up with Baker. And now Dan Rioli at left half back. He turns and kicks inside the defensive 50. And finds the improving Tom Brown.
Tom Brown will go straight into the centre of the ground. Marked by Broad. Corner of the centre square. Kicks out wide to Daniel Rioli. Holds on to the mark. Slows things down and then just chips short ahead of him to Ralph Smith. Standing right at centre wing, outer side of the MCG. Floodlights already on for this twilight contest. Ralph Smith will bang it to the top of the 50, or a pack will form at the bottom for Mark. No player can take that mark at Sicily at the drop. Gets the footy, hand passes it to Amon, close to the boundary line. Curves the ball inboard, just can't keep it in though. So we'll have a throw in at around the 50-metre mark. The punt road end, which Richmond's kicking to, neither team able to score yet through 2 minutes.
Only Richmond have been inside 50 on one occasion. Tom Lynch has made his way down to full forward. He's alongside Jack Frost. Thrown back in as Dustin Martin comes up to the stoppage. Nankervis outmanoeuvred by Meek, and it's Will Day who kicks the Hawks up the wing. Watson couldn't take the mark. It spills out to Day. Ralph Smith lays the tackle, forces a turnover. Dan Rioli, hand pass into the middle of the ground. For Dowd, to Bolton, to Dustin Martin, slipped over. Hand pass to Taranto. Outside of the boot, inside 50. Cumberland couldn't fly. And Jack Scrimshaw takes the mark in the left back pocket for the Hawks. No score through the opening 2 minutes at the MCG.
Scrimshaw will kick defensively to Blake Hardwick, standing just outside the defensive square, and then he'll go and play on kick to almost directly to Nankervis. He flew up for Richmond. He couldn't take the mark. Moore's there for Hawthorn. Nearly was tackled low. Goes back with a crunching tackle, Moore. And players will surround the footy. Umpire will come and throw it up. Tom Brown on the bottom for the Tigers. A throw up right in front of Adam Uze, watching on from the bench. Running onto it is Baker, can pick it up, hand pass quickly to McIntosh. He'll spin around, shove it on his right boot and kick it to the top of the 50. Mark will be taken there by Ryan Mansell. Mansell unsure where to go from his position at left half forward. Will chip inside 50. Good kick to Taranto. Will hold on to the mark 45 metres out from goal for the Tigers.
It was a good mark by Mansell. His Hawthorn opponent forward, he had him covered, but he managed to just stick out the arms in time. And smart kick too. The tendency would have been to go, where's Tommy Lynch? I'm going to get him into the game. And where's Dusty? He's down deep. But just lowered the eyes, hit Taranto on the way forward. He's going to be kicking from around about 52, 53. So Koza did say there's a bit of a wind going this way. We'll see how strong it is.
So he only came back from a fractured wrist last week. Tim Taranto will let sail from the pain of 50. It's not going to make the distance by any means. Punched away by D'Ambrosio. Still plays in play until Amon takes it over the boundary line for the first score of the day, which will just be a minor score for the Tigers. They lead by that behind after 4 minutes in the first quarter.
D'Ambrosio has been an outstanding find for the Hawks. I'm sure there's a lot of Essendon people running around saying, well, hang on, why isn't he still in our colours?
A turnover from Scrimshaw. Ralph Smith, hand pass to Dustin Martin. Is this his moment? It is! Dusty with the opening goal in his 300th match. Taking centre stage once more, and every Richmond player comes to celebrate. Living up to the occasion. And the yellow and black army at the punt road are going nuts. Dustin Martin kicks the opening goal of the match. timed his run superbly from the bad turnover from Scrimshaw, and from just outside 50 out to the right, it was another trademark finish from one of the best big-time game players we've ever seen.
And it was, I didn't even watch the ball go off the boot through the goals. As soon as that ball hit Dusty's foot, he just put the one arm in the air and just went off at the right angle and was swamped by the Richmond players. There could not have been a better start for the Tigers. And so that's the thing. It's going to get the rest of the players pumped. They ran right from full back to, I was going to say, ruffle his hair, but he hasn't got any.
What a great moment to start Dusty's 300th as the ball's tossed back in the middle. It's McDonald chasing after it. Socket forward, straight inside 50. Watson's here for the Hawks. Hand pass across to Ginnivan. Left forward pocket. Tries to turn around. Then he goes around the 360. We tackle now. Surely ball. Umpire will blow his whistle and he'll be pinned for that, Ginnivan. Free kick.
Good defending there. Ginnivan, he wanted that right boot to snap it on the right to draw it back through the goals, but the Tigers defenders just wouldn't let him have it.
So Gloucester now with the free long kick outside of defensive 50. It's punched away by Weddle over the boundary line for a throw in between wing and half forward for the Hawks. Richmond still the only side to have scored today. 1-1-7 leading Hawthorn yet to score. Nankervis and Meek in the ruck. Nankervis palms it down as he's falling. Nash tries to track it back, overruns it. Picked up by McDonald, who can hand pass it away to Hardwick. Quickly puts the ball on his boot towards left half forward. Meek still chasing after it. Battles with Rioli. But the ball will go over the boundary line for a throw-in at the top of the 50 for the Hawks. It's 6 minutes gone in the first quarter, and it's Richmond ahead by 7.
Looking forward to seeing Lloyd Meek play today.
Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Can we make a deal, Clinchy and Lauren, that every time you cross to me after Dusty's touched the ball, you scream my name, because I cannot hear a thing down here every time the four goes near it?
It spills out the way. Mackenzie for the Hawks. Outside 50. Kicks long towards Joel. It's spoiled away from him. In the end, the Tigers bring it down. McIntosh under pressure. Locked up. Can't get Boots a ball. He somehow got it out despite being on his backside. It's cleared by Broad. Gets the hand pass to Baker. Spun over one tackle. Not the second. Jack got him holding the ball. And the Hawks win it back inside their attacking 50 in the right forward pocket. And Liam Baker just thought he had a little bit more time than what it proved to be.
Always thought that's a really good sign of a team, whether they're on or not, is that if a player spins out of one tackle, that there's somebody else there ready to grab him straight afterwards. And if Jeff didn't get Baker there was another Hawthorn player there ready to nab him as well. So it's that second and third tackle effort that really shows that the team we're switched on and we want to kill that bloke with the footy.
Jungkook Jath, who's playing in his 50th game, the other milestone this afternoon. Out to the right for the Hawks' first goal of the match. He comes in from 45 and misses to the right-hand side. A minor score for the Hawks. It was their second inside 50. The Tigers have had 4 at the other end. Richmond by 6 points. 8 minutes gone. Opening quarter on ABC Sport. Here's Lauren Borden.
Nick Lawson with the kicking duties just chooses to chip it short towards Miller in the right back pocket. Easily holds onto the mark. And then looks ahead of him too, and he'll just kick it 20 metres up towards Taranto. Not wanting to move it quickly, Tim Taranto will finally kick it down the outer wing of the MCG. A packle form. Up goes Lynch. He punches it away. Ralph Smith picks it up, hand passes it to Baker, shoves it on his boot to gain some distance. Half forward for Richmond. It's picked off by Scrimshaw though. Hand passes to a running Hardwick. The Hawks might be able to go quickly here. Hand pass to Newcomb, who hand passes it to Nash. Flicks it across to Hardwick. His kick smothered. It was a good job by Baker. He can hand pass it to Ralph Smith, who flicks it off to Sonzi. Richmond trying to go back the other way. Sonzi tackled. Ball spills out. Umpire calls play on. He goes back after it and can hand pass it away to Short, to Ralph Smith. Tries to go back to Short. He has to track back after it. Can't pick it up cleanly. Warple with it. Just pushes it forward in the way of Meek.
Well, the ball is stuck underneath a few players. Jack Graham lays the tackle. Umpire lets it go for a few moments. It does eventually emerge as a good tackle was laid by Watson. It's the Tigers through Campbell, though. Kicks up the Shane Stan wing. Hawthorn had the numbers 2-on-1. Sicily and Frost combine and get around Tom Lynch. James Sicily with a low worm burner into the middle of the ground. Cumberland used his boot to volley it up, but straight to Weddle of the Hawks. Hand pass to Hardwick. Tells Newcomb to kick it out to the members wing because McDonald has space. He gathers in front of the AFL logo. Looks up towards Moore. Almost takes the mark in front of Taranto. Umpire says he had enough of it. And Dylan Moore has paid the free kick or the mark at right half forward. It's in front of the fans at the Ponsford stand in. Tigers leading by 6 points. He turns and comes back inboard to James Sicily, who takes the mark centre wing on the members' side.
James Sicily points to go long. He'll kick it inside 50. Mark can't be taken by Gunston. Watson will see it over the boundary line for a throw-in. Just inside 50 for the Hawks. Attacking towards the Ponsford stand end of the MCG. Just the one behind for the Hawks so far via Jath and Dustin Martin with the sole goal for the game so far, the opening one in his 300th match. It'll be Nankervis and Meek again in the ruck as the umpire tosses the ball in. Both go at it. Meek just gets the touchdown. Bolton overruns it. Warple can pick it up for Hawthorn. He's spun around in a tackle. Hand passes it to Newcombe. It's taken by 2 and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up 55 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
Even contest so far. Uncontested possessions 24-23. Contested 11-12. So very even.
Graham with the clearance for Richmond just kicks it away and it's taken though by Sicily. Easily takes the mark between wing and half forward for the Hawks.
Hawks getting a little bit more of the game being played on their terms as their skipper sends a high ball inside 50. Have a fly after that. In the end, it's Nankervis. It comes over from the side. Spoils it away from Meek and out of play in the right forward pocket for Hawthorn. Richmond by 6 points. Dustin Martin kicked the opening goal of the match. So Swamp Thing on Twitter says only Matthew Pavlich, the only other player to kick the opening goal in their 300th match. So another piece of history for Dustin Martin, the 7th Tiger to reach the 300-game milestone. Nankervis wins down the tap for Richmond. Taranto can't clear. McKenzie for the Hawks. Hand pass to Warple picked off. And Taranto into the middle of the ground. Risky ball. Cumberland couldn't mark. Scrimshaw gathers. Hand pass to McDonald. To Nash on his left. Jags it across his body. And misses to the right-hand side. 2 behinds for the Hawks to Richmond's 1-1-7. 12 minutes gone. Opening quarter on ABC Sport.
I think he was always looking for the handball. Every time he picks up the footy, he looks for the handball. But at that time, I thought, you know what, I'm the best place to kick this goal, and just didn't quite have the confidence to put it through the middle.
Short outside of defensive 50 towards Campbell. He can't take the mark. Hawks able to clean up here via Newcombe, who has a short hand pass on, goes to Warple, still at the edge of the centre square. He's got Tigers all around him. Martin tries to tackle, can just get the hand pass across to D'Ambrosio. Long down to Chol, inside 50 mark. A beautiful pass found Chol, and now he'll kick from 25 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Well, got away with that one, the Hawks, because Warple got the ball in the middle, just on the corner of the square. He had Sicily streaming past it as well as others. He tried to fake that handball. It was lucky that the Tigers' tackles didn't actually stick and he could get another one out. So it was a quick kick inside 50, which worked out well because Chol read it best.
Cheers for Dustin Martin as he comes to the bench. It's his former teammate in Chol. Just eases it towards goals. And it goes right through into the Hawthorn cheer squad. The Hawks have their first for this afternoon, and they now take the lead 1-8, leading Richmond 1-7. 13 minutes played in the first quarter at the MCG.
It's interesting, the centre corridor in this ground again, because both teams are looking to use it as much as they possibly can. They've got players just parked inside that corridor, and any time they get the ball out wide, that's their first option. Let's bring it through the middle. Let's get the ball inside 50 quickly and hopefully score quickly. So it makes for really good viewing when it comes off. When it doesn't come off, it's really dangerous because it just goes straight down the middle and the other team can score. So very similar game plan so far from these two teams.
Australian Football Hall of Fame member, St Kilda champion Nathan Burke alongside Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden, and Cohen down on the boundary. Back in the middle, it's Meek who wins down the tap. Moore could have been taken high, no whistle though, so Shea Bolton gets the clearance, sends the Tigers up towards half forward. It's over the head of Sonsi and Hardwick. Frost gathers, sliding in on his knees. Hand pass to Hardwick, hand pass to Carl Amon at left half back. Opens up play to Will Day, to Meek, back to Day. Beautiful transition from the Hawks around the Shane Warne stand side. Amon's kick up towards half forward, never got to Gunston. And Noah Bolter takes the mark for the Tigers, turns and comes inboard to Taranto.
Hand pass goes away to Bolton. Outer wing, his kick, smothered by Will Day, can pick it up and kick inside 50. Straight down into the pocket. It was too wide for Gunston, who has to chase after it as it goes over the boundary line. 30 metres around from the Hawks' goal.
Bit lucky there, the Tigers, because I was watching Jack Gunston, and as soon as that ball was smothered off the boot, he just took off back to goal and trusted that his players would get it. Unfortunately, Will Day's kick went astray, but that should have been a mark and set shot for goal for Gunston.
He was about the only player within 30 metres of the goal. The umpire throws the ball in. Meek comes over the top to tap it down. Watson chasing after it, got some pace. He beats Ralph Smith to the footy, but it's very close to the boundary line. So we'll have another throw in 25 metres around from Hawthorn's goal.
Time in forward half, 65% to the Hawks at this point. So dominating field position. Tigers doing a really good job defending so far.
Toss back in. Kaczynski doing the ruck against Meek. It spills down to McIntosh for the Tigers. Hand pass away to Short. In the right back pocket, kicks as far as he can. Up the southern stand into the direction of Tom Lynch, but the Hawks have the numbers. And Sicily in from the side. The Hawthorn captain takes the mark.
Not sure why you just, as soon as there's a high ball, somebody in the Richmond jumper has to go to Sicily. You've just got to make it hard for him. He'll do that all day.
Tom Lynch back for his first match in 10 weeks. Back for Dustin Martin's 300th match. The Tigers gather across half-back. Graham's with a hand pass to Taranto, who swings boundary side and is able to work it out to right half-back. And Nick Flostone takes the mark. He's had the haircut during the week. Not sure it was Dusty's barber, as he runs the boundary line and gets the hand pass away to Jaden Short. Drives a long ball around the wing. Lynch caught behind. Brought down by Frost. And Tom Lynch is able to gather it, though. Fends off the tackle of Sicily. Kicks inside 50. What a pass. And Campbell marks. He might centre it here. Sonsy's the offer. A little slow. And Nash gets back and makes the spoil. McKenzie stripped of it in the tackle from Shea Bolton. It spills out. Newcomb for the Hawks. Rushes through a minor score. That was a fair way out, umpire says. Enough pressure there. And a minor score for the Tigers. As you'd expect at the punt road end. They're here for the occasion. Richmond 1-2-8 to Hawthorn 1-2-8. 16 minutes gone, opening quarter on ABC Sport.
Yeah, the young Richmond fella should have just gone back and had a shot there. He's got to take the opportunities when he gets them, take the responsibility, put it through.
Carl Amon with a long kick outside of defence, goes in the deer direction and will be paid the mark. Held on to it for just long enough, the umpire said. So Kalshadir will hold on to the footy at left half back for the Hawks. Takes a few steps before lumping on his boot as well for a long kick down the line. Richmond players go up for it. Boston was one of them, and it'll be a free kick going the way of the Tigers. Now a bolt up will have it for Richmond. No, he won't. He'll get rid of it and he'll throw it back to Floston, who takes the footy and then plays on quickly and kicks towards Ralph Smith. Centre wing now for the Tigers. They started with a bang in this game, and then it's been all Hawthorn until the last minute or so. Ralph Smith, long kick, right to half forward for Richmond. Sicily goes up. He can't hold on to the mark. Bolter went in there as well. And then it'll be taken by Hardwick. Hand pass to Day. Hawks trying to get out of trouble here. Amon, close along the boundary line, can kick down the wing towards Chol. Juggles it. Can almost take the mark. Taps it down instead. Watson's got it now. One bounce. In he goes. Inside 50. Moore's at the back. Can't take the mark. Yes, he can. He holds on to it. A quick play for it there from the Hawks, and Moore holds on to the mark. Very close to goals, but with a tough angle.
A fantastic play by Watson. Just crumbing the ball, hitting it at speed, running along the boundary line, and a fantastic kick to Moore. And I'll explain why it's terrible defending shortly.
Dylan Moore snaps towards goals, and with ease puts it through. It's the Hawks 2-2-14 leading Richmond 1-2-8. 18 and a half minutes played into the first quarter. Berkey, what was all wrong with that?
It was Dylan Moore against two Richmond defenders, and they took up a position of one in front of him so he can't lead forward, and the other one was behind, and Broad was the one that was behind. The guy in front was doing the right thing because the ball had to go high over his head, allowing for the guy from behind, which was Broad, to come in and kill that ball over the boundary line. But Broad just didn't do his job. He was too far away, and the lovely kick by Watson landed right in between those two Richmond defenders. So 2-on-1, the guy the size of Dylan Moore should not be able to mark uncontested inside the forward 50.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Earlier, the Western Bulldogs by 67 points over the Dockers. They beat it 23 goals to 12. Back in the middle of the ground, McKenzie gets the clearance of the Hawks. Looks up to Ginnivan on the lead. He marks on his chest in front of Nick Flostone. Looks up, inside 50, the lead's coming. Kalshadir in front. He's able to take the mark despite the late challenge coming in from Ben Miller. And he's right on 50 out to the right.
Yeah, this young fella has pretty much surprised everyone. I was talking to his mum in the pre-season, and he said, they might just sort of rookie him, or they might put him on the list, and we're not too sure. And they thought, he's a bit of a prospect, and they absolutely didn't think he'd be doing what he's doing.
7 goals so far for Cal Shadir in his 7th match of AFL footy. Out to the right, he sets fly. It's a good effort, it might have got there. Umpire has not signalled, and the field umpire is coming in, so I'm assuming we're going upstairs to the arc, but the hand that touched it may have been behind the goal line. That's what we're going to check.
This is really interesting because if it didn't go over the goal line, that ball is just bubbling around in the goal square and giving Hawthorn players... Oh, it's going to be a goal, is it?
So as Noah Bolter touched that on the way through, Nathan Broad's on the goal line. It looks like they might be all past the goal line as we await for the all clear on the big screen. And it comes through, a goal for the young Hawk, the 18-year-old Cal Shadir. And all of a sudden, after Dustin Martin kicked the opening goal in his 300th match, the Hawks have kicked the next 3 to take control of the match. They lead by 12 points, 3-2-20 to the Tigers, 1-2-8. A long-range bomb from Cal Shadir.
Yeah, it's a fantastic kick. He kicked them from about 55 metres out and went over by about a foot. But it's something that the Rules Committee might have to have a look at, because if that ball wasn't touched, it was touched, it was banged back into play, the ball's live bouncing around the goal square and the umpire stops the play. What's to say that a Hawthorn player can't pick up that ball and put it through for a goal? It's a bit like the old leg buys in the T20 World Cup.
So it missed Bolter's hand, and then Broad was behind the line, which led to the goal. Good long-range goal from the 18-year-old.
Cholan Nankervis in the middle. Nankervis palms it away. Baker can't collect. It'll be Hawthorn here through Will Day. Holds on to the footy and then kicks to left half forward, where Ginnivan can track it back. Can't take the mark. Good work from Tom Brown to punch it away from him. He goes after it. Walpole pushes him out of the footy though, and D'Ambrosio will pick up for Hawthorn. Hand pass now to Ginnivan. He'll quickly put the ball inside 50, hoping for a mark. It was Bolter at the front. Couldn't hold on to the mark. Instead, he'll take it over the line, which might be a win for Hawthorn here in the end. Let's head down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Talking about Cal Shadir, Luke Bruce, who is the nominated sub for Hawthorn, is up and out of that back seat all the time, talking to the young Hawks, almost assistant coaching role with his near 300 games experience. He's been in the ear of Cal Shadir a lot.
Thanks, Koza. Ball tossed in. Meek chasing after it. He's trying to stop Graham from getting to the footy as well. And in the end, McKenzie just sees it over the line too. So Bruce the sub again for the 6th game in a row, I think it is. So he's become a specialist sub basically in that role, like you mentioned, Koza, to mentor as well as provide a little bit of flair like last week when he comes on late in the game. The umpire will throw it back in, top of the 50. Meek overruns it, picked up by Sonzi, quickly shoves it on his boot to get some distance away. Kazitsky picks it up and he can hand pass across to Mansell.
Mansell drives it, but it's over the head of Shea Bolton. Weddle under pressure, couldn't take the mark. Hand pass to Wimpy, has support. Back to Scrimshaw. They work it around the Richmond forward line. Hand pass back to Jarman MP. Cumberland off his chase to Scrimshaw. Try to take on the tackle. Eventually the hand pass comes back to MP. Drives it up towards half forward. The Tigers are well set, and the mark is taken by Ben Miller. Miller swings inboard, finds Sonzi at right half back. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action, and Koza down on the boundary. Nathan Burke in the expert's chair this afternoon. Sonzi up towards half forward. Cumberland had to sit underneath it. Crashed into by Frost illegally, says the umpire, as he's laying flat on his back at right half forward. 75 metres out from goal.
We've got to the point now, if something looks rough, we'll find a reason to pay a free kick. There was nothing wrong with that spoil.
Cumberland veers out to the left. Nankervis has gone forward. Clark clear the fingertips of Josh Weddle, who gets back and takes the mark in the left back pocket. Did some work in the ruck last week against GWS. He is becoming an improving Hawk.
Kicks it long into the centre of the MCG. Up goes Dia, 2 hands, can't take the mark, goes after it. Picked up by Day. Stolen though by Baker. Quickly puts it inside 50. It will be a mark for the Hawks though. So Jack sitting back there, taking the intercept mark, and he'll chip now to Weddle again. Jack will keep running, gets the hand pass, and then kicks to the outer side of the MCG to Impey. Marks on the logo. Kicks towards a running Moore, who can keep running to half forward. Spears a kick inside 50 towards Gunston. Goes over the top of his head and will bounce through in the end for just a minor score. So Hawthorn's lead now extending out to 13 points as we near the end of the first quarter.
Quickly brought back into play by Short, works it up to right half back. Jaff was in the pack against Campbell, and the Tigers gather their away. Baker kicks up towards the left half forward. Kaczynski takes the mark against his former side. He veers out to the right, drives it long in the direction of Shea Bolton, who sets to fly. In from the side, Weddle. What a mark. Isn't he starting to impose himself to the Hawthorn faithful? Although that kick missed the target. It's back over the head of Jarman Impey. He gathers and gets a good block from D'Ambrosio. Kicks up towards left half-back. Connor McDonald can't take the mark. Sliding in down Rioli for the Tigers. Hard against the boundary, chips it to right half-forward. And Ralph Smith takes the mark. Hawthorn by 13 points. Hugo Ralph-Smith runs the boundary line, gains a few metres, kicks into the pocket, needing a fly. Nankervis spoils it down. Bolton is locked up by Scrimshaw and Frost. And the umpire will ball it up 25 metres out from the Tigers' goal at the Punt Road end. It's Hawthorn by 13 points.
Ball up close to Richmond's goal. Up it comes. Martin overruns it. Nankervis picks it up. He'll hand pass to Taranto. He'll take a snap at the goals and he'll get it through from an impossible angle. Tim Taranto had a ping and gets the goal for Richmond. Their first since Dustin Martin's opener at the 5-minute mark of the quarter. Margin is cut back to 7 points. It's Richmond 2-2-14 playing Hawthorn 3-3-21. Your expert is Nathan Burke on ABC Sport.
Well, I think, Loz, you were being slightly kind when you said he had a shot for goal from the boundary line. I have a distinct thought that he was trying to centre that ball and got the wrong side of it, and it did a lovely left to right curve from the boundary line and went through. But it doesn't matter how, it's how many that counts.
Well, that's how my missed kicks went. I'd be happy with that.
Even the look on his face was like, oh, I'll take it. But he's up to 11 possessions now to lead everyone on the ground. The next best is Weddle and Scrimshaw and Hardwick with 7. So he started off like a house on fire. He's one midfielder along with Baker, who's been okay. He's had 6, but without Taranto, I think the Tigers might be even further behind.
If you want to get in touch with us, of course, the SMS number 0437 774 774. A free kick in the ruck battle against Toby Nankervis, who will go the way of Lloyd Meek. He has it inside the centre circles. Thought about the hand pass to Weddle, streaming past. Ignores that. Meek drives a right-footed kick as far as he can inside 50. Cal Shadir tries to work his way to the front, off the hands of Loston. Newcomb, beautifully crumbed, swings onto his left. What a great finish. Jai Newcomb showing his versatility inside the forward 50. And the Hawks immediately answer back. 3 of the last 4 to extend it back to a 13-point lead. 4-3-27 to the Tigers. 2-2-14. 27 minutes gone. Opening quarter on ABC Sport. You're with Nathan Burke.
Well, that was an incredible goal, really. It was just a long bomb into the Hawks forward line, about 25 metres out from goal. There was about at least 15 players standing around, and Newcomb just amazing reflexes, just stuck out the right mitt, stuck in it, and then snapped on his left foot through for a goal 20 metres out. So talk about a goal from absolutely nothing. That's the epitome of that.
So a quick response from Newcomb to Taranto's goal just moments earlier for the Tigers. Nankervis taps it around, then Warple pushes it forward in the path of Martin, though. He can't pick up the footy. Meeks there. Hand pass to Ginnivan, who hand passes across to McDonald. They'll go forward now, the Hawks. It'll go all the way out of bounds on the full. So Nathan Broad will take the free kick now for Richmond. Hawthorn still leading by 13 points late in the first quarter. Broad holding onto the footy and calling everyone across to the southern side of the MCG. Long kick outside of defensive 50. Up went Lynch, over his head. Picked up, though, by Amon. Hand pass it away to D'Ambrosio. Scrubby kick towards McDonald. Hand passes to McKenzie. He's taken to the turf. And the umpire will blow his whistle and will pay Baker the free kick for that tackle. So it'll be Baker of Richmond, right half back for the Tigers. Just chips it towards short, and he'll kick longer down the wing to McIntosh.
So Hawthorn leading by 13 points. Camden McIntosh has it and drives as far as he can up towards Tom Lynch. He's caught a fair way back, and Mansell in the end just did enough to work Sicily off it. And then the kick close to the boundary was across. As Mansell's little hack did go over the boundary on the full, but the umpire says throw it in. So Hawthorn by 13 points on the SMS 0437 774 774. Rachel from Ballarat. But is at the MCG. It says, is Tom Lynch still injured? Is yet to have a disposal. He's had one Berkey, but he's one to keep an eye on at the moment as Shea Bolton gathers from the stoppage, drives it up towards Tom Lynch and Kaczynski. Jaff makes the spoil. Can Lynch get a boot to it? He lunges at it, and in the end, across the boundary, across the behind line, the right-hand side of the right goalpost for a minor score. Hawthorn by 11 points. Half an hour gone, opening quarter on ABC Sport.
It hasn't helped Tom Lynch the way that they're taking the ball inside 50. Nearly all of them have been long bombs, and Frost and Sicily down there, very hard to market. They need to get some free ball through the middle so he can actually get on a lead, and I think that'll help Tom Lynch get the footy.
Centre wing, it's D'Ambrosio down to Warple. Hand passes to Day, and Day will go back to Warple, who puts it on his right boot to gain some distance for the Hawks. Punched away by Broad, picked up though by McDonald. Hand passes it away in the Deer direction. He can just get a flick across to McKenzie. Hand passes it to McDonald again. Touched off the boot potentially. Baker nearly can't mark it in the end. Anyway, he's got to hold it. Nearly fumbles it over the line, and in the end, it's good work there by Deer, who just smothers it right on the boundary line and keeps the ball from going any further for the Tigers.
Desperation when the ball hits the ground, I think, is certainly in favour of the Hawks. They're getting extra numbers there. Their hands are pretty good, being able to clean it up and get the ball inside 50. So inside 50s are 13-10, just in favour of the Hawks.
He can Nankervis. Nankervis taps it away. It's straight in the direction, though, of McKenzie, who's then tackled by Nankervis. We'll have a ball up 40 metres out from Hawthorn's goal, leading by 12 points late in the first term.
There's 110 kilograms squashing him into the ground. It's not fun.
Meek wins down the tap as we close in on quarter time. Taranto's in there, Dan Rioli as well. Tim Taranto steps through traffic. Kick can't clear. D'Ambrosio. Is there time for one more for the Hawks? The long kick inside 50. The siren sounded before it got to the hands of Jai Newcomb. And the opening quarter in the books in Dustin Martin's 300th match. He kicked the first goal of the match, but Hawthorn would finish with 4 of the last 5 goals of the term to lead by 12 points. They've led at quarter time in 3 of their last 4 matches. They trailed by 4 points against the Giants last week, but trying to do their part in what is a big occasion for the Richmond fans. Hawthorn 4-3-27 to the Tigers 2-3-15. The goals of the Hawks have come through Newcomb, Deer, Moore and Chol, while for the Tigers it's through Dustin Martin and Tim Taranto. On the SMS 0437 774 774. Molly and Vom listening while camping beside a fire outside of Cairns in far north Queensland. So proud of Dustin, and his 300th first goal gave me goosebumps. Keep up the great commentary. Would love a shout out. So there you go, Molly and Vom. Enjoy your time while camping. We'll try and keep you entertained from the MCG. Great to have your company on Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. I'll get the thoughts of Nathan Burke with you. Berkey, that opening quarter, the Tigers starting promisingly, but the Hawks in the end were able to take control.
Yeah, they were. I think the first couple of minutes was the Tigers were up and about, and certainly after Dusty put through the first goal of the game, they were really up and running. But to Hawthorn's credit, they managed to wrestle back Ascendancy really, really quickly, and they weren't fazed by the roar. They weren't fazed by all the Tigers celebrating with Dusty. They dominated for probably the last 10 minutes after that goal by Dusty Martin. They were doing it by just getting numbers around the contest. They were forcing Richmond to use the ball long out of their defence, and that's where Sicily and these sort of guys and Lloyd Meek were getting in the way, bringing the ball to ground, and it was Warple and Weddle and McKenzie and Day and Amon running off that half-back line, Scrimshaw off the half-back line, who were really just mopping up the football and driving it back inside the forward 50 for the Hawks. And the Tigers, you could see they wanted to use a corridor. They were looking in there every single time, but the Hawks were really well structured, and the only option the Tigers had was to bomb it down the line that played right into the Hawks' hands. The clearances are fairly even. They're 10-9 just in favour of the Hawks, but I think the quality of clearance from the Hawks has been far better, and they're getting the ball into their forward line with different looks. Sometimes they've had to bomb it in. Sometimes they've had players running back towards goal. Sometimes they've had a player lead up, whereas the Tigers have only had the one option, and that's to bomb it in along edge tie. And I think that's why the Hawks are on front of the scoreboard.
Nathan Burke, your expert on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action, and Cohen down on the boundary. Don't forget you can hear every game of the AFL season on the ABC Listen app. This is Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Empowering entertainment on ABC iView.
There is no more shame.
You have to hold your nerve.
Pick yourself back up again.
Be assertive and stand your ground.
I'm gonna do what I want.
I want a career.
Everything will be alright.
I'm trying to prove that I'm a real musician.
Let your true colours shine bright.
I'm black and I'm the best.
Freeman, The Newsreader, Ladies in Black, A Life in 10 Pictures, and so much more. Always free, always empowering on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
A turnover from Screenshaw. Ralph Smith, hand pass to Dustin Martin. Is this his moment? It is! Dusty with the opening goal in his 300th match. Taking centre stage once more, and every Richmond player comes to celebrate. Living up to the occasion. And the yellow and black army at the punt road are going nuts.
Warple still at the edge of the centre square. He's got Tigers all around him. Martin tries to tackle. Can just get the hand pass across to D'Ambrosio. Long down to Chol inside 50 mark. Beautiful pass down Chol. Cheers for Dustin Martin as he comes to the bench. It's his former teammate in Chol. Just eases it towards goals. And it goes right through into the Hawthorn cheer squad. Chol juggles it. Can almost take the mark. Taps it down instead. Watson's got it now. One bounce. In he goes. Inside 50. Moore's at the back. Can't take the mark. Yes, he can. He holds on to it. Dylan Moore snaps towards goals. And with ease puts it through.
Cal Shadir in his 7th match of AFL footy. Out to the right. He sets fly. It's a good effort. It might have got there. And it comes through a goal for the young Hawk.
Nankervis picks it up. He'll hand pass to Duranto. He'll take a snap at the goals. And he'll get it through from an impossible angle.
Meek drives a right-footed kick as far as he can inside 50. Cal Shadir tries to work his way to the front. Off the hands of Boston. Newcomb beautifully crumbed. Swings onto his left. What a great finish.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
A turnover from Screenshaw. Ralph Smith. Hand pass to Dustin Martin. Is this his moment? It is! Of course it was going to be Dustin Martin, the 3-time Norm Smith medalist, to kick the opening goal of the match, but really it was the Hawks who took control in the latter stages of that first quarter. From the 13-minute mark onwards, they kicked 4 of the last 5 goals of the match, including 2 from centre bounce clearances. Nathan Burke, which no doubt Adam Uze will be keen to keep an eye on, but the occasion, the Hawks very much living up to their recent form.
That they are. They're continuing on. I haven't seen the Hawks live for quite some time. I've seen Tigers the sort of last 3 out of the 4 weeks, and they've been building. They were fairly good against Essendon. They were pretty good for a long time against Geelong. Obviously won last week, and I wanted to see whether they continue that form on. And don't think the Tigers are playing poorly by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that the Hawks are playing very, very good football. The way that they run and support each other is outstanding, and players aren't second guessing. They're just going. If my teammate needs a hand, well then bang, I'm there. And they're trusting their skills, and they're trusting their reading of the play, and excellent form by the Hawks so far.
Dustin Martin changed his jumper at quarter time, so I imagine a piece of memorabilia for some fans or friends. And the second quarter is underway. Hawthorn by 12 points. Noel Bolter starting in fact it was Toby Nankervis who wins down the opening tap, but it's Will Day who gets the clearance of the Hawks, kicks up inside 50, Vorstone couldn't take the mark, Ginnivan shrugged at the knees, not paid the high contact, and the umpire will ball it up 40 metres out from the Hawthorn goal at the punt road end.
If you stick one arm up, there's your pro opportunity. Should have been holding the ball.
Ball tossed up, comes down to Sonzi, hand passes it away to Dow, puts it on the boot and can kick Richmond all the way to half forward. It'll be Hardwick who got there and then spilt the mark, had to go after it. Frost able to pick it up, hand pass to Sicily, who flicked it across to Amon, who'll kick across defensive 50 and switch sides of the ground along to the northern side as he finds McDonald. Down the wing towards D'Ambrosio. He'll keep running after marking it. There's plenty of space ahead of Ralph Smith. Chips it towards Ginnivan. Ginnivan at left, half forward. Says he's going to kick it to Day. That's exactly what he does. Goes slightly high above his head, taps it down, then goes after it, Day. Hand passes it to Nash, who hand passes to McDonald, who has a shot at the goals, but it's all the way out of bounds on the full. So no score there for the Hawks. They still maintain that 12-point quarter-time lead after a minute in the second.
Just going to keep an eye on the work rate of the Tigers. At the moment, it's definitely obvious that the Hawks are working hard in that they're getting more numbers to the ball whenever it hits the ground. Went to the Tigers half-forward line, but it was 4 Hawks players who got back there first.
Noah Bolter kicks as high as he can out of defence. That might bring rain as Nankervis spores it down to the front, and Campbell's hand pass goes straight out of play, and the umpire says throw it in. Earlier, the Western Bulldogs winners by 67 points at Dockett Demolition, 23-11-149 to Fremantle 12-10-82. Marcus Poltapelli for his 30 disposals and 3 goals. Got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Thrown back in. Meek wins down the tap against Nankervis for the Hawks. Charging through Graham. Gets the hand pass away from Tim Taranto. And Graham swings back on his right. Long up the Shane Warne stand wing. Campbell flew from behind. Sicily couldn't hang on to the mark. Hardwick slides in. Eventually the ball emerges for Richmond. Swansea with a hand pass. Links up through the middle of the ground. Mansell to Dan Rioli. Inside 50. Kaczynski down low. Takes the mark directly in front. Had a few metres on Weddle, who was trying to hedge his bets as to whether to race back to goal. Against his former side, Jacob Kaczynski has it directly in front.
He was worrying me there a little bit, Kaczynski. He was streaming back towards goals. He just needed to turn around and would take an uncontested mark. And just at the last minute as the ball was coming, he turned around and gets himself a shot for goal from 45 out, pretty much dead in front.
He's only kicked 2 goals so far this season through his 4 matches. Against his former side, Kaczynski comes in, leans back and steers it straight through the middle. He celebrates as the Tigers faithful come charging towards him. And against his former side, he closes the gap back to 6 points. Hawthorn's way. 4-3-27 to the Tigers, 3-3-21. The opening goal of the second quarter coming at the 3-minute mark. Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
Oh, there's one each for the ex-players. Marby or Chol kicking a goal against his old team in that first quarter, and Jacob Kaczynski kicking at one then. But it was really good movement by the Tigers. A bit of a scrap on the wing, but it was the importance of getting players inside the contest to win that hard ball, but then have players lined up on the outside of the contest so you can chain handball out inside to an open forward line 50, forward 50, and that's one of the few times that they've been able to do that cleanly.
Hawthorn now with a 6-point lead. Nankervis with the tap out. Over the head of Taranto. We beaten to the footy by Day. There's a whistle. And the umpire will pay the free kick going the way of the Tigers. And to Tim Taranto. Quickly hand passes it backwards towards Short. Chip kick over the top to Nankervis, and then Short will get it back via a hand pass. Shoves the ball inside 50 with a centering kick. It's all Hawks around the footy. They can bring the ball to ground. It'll get to Lynch though. He's taken in a tackle. Ball spills out. Gets to Hardwick. And the umpire will pay the free kick to the Hawks.
Just a bit rusty, Tommy Lynch there. He got the ball in the pack and just hung onto the ball a split second too long.
Weddle takes the free kick, then hand passes it to Amon, who kicks from the top of the defensive 50, right in the Chol direction. He was at the back and Miller was at the front. Wins out by taking the mark for the Tigers, and Chol just taps it down a little bit, but no 50-metre penalty. And it'll be Miller with the ball at centre wing for the Tigers.
Miller off balance as it's partially smothered on the way through. Massimo D'Ambrosio has it hugged to his chest as Ralph Smith locks it up. It's at right half forward for the Tigers, who trail by 6 points. 5 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport. Thrown up, Nankervis wins down the tap against Meek. Martin couldn't take it cleanly, now becomes the tackler on Newcombe. And the umpire circles once more. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action, and Cohen is sitting in the front row tonight. And Nathan Burke, your expert. Thrown up. Chance for Thompson Dow, who emerges with it for the Tigers. Hand pass to Martin, tackled, had to get a hand pass forward. Finds Shea Bolton, he's corralled by D'Ambrosio. He lays a good smother and spoils the ball out of play. Right half forward for the Tigers. Of course, the visual as we look across the ground, there's a lot of yellow and black, as you'd imagine, but there's a bit of brown and gold as well, especially at the City end where a lot of the Hawks fans are.
Surely more than 80,000 in the house, and then we'll see how far the crowd can build to today as the ball's tossed back in. Martin hand passes back to Bolton, shoves it on his boot and will bounce inside 50. Impey picks it up though for the Hawks and hand passes to Sicily. Long kick out of defence across to centre wing. Miller and Chol again at it, and it'll be a free kick going the way of Miller for a hold against Chol. So those two have been in the action the last few minutes, and as Chol kicks towards Boston. He's just one of 3 Tigers who has played every game this season, obviously with lots of injuries. There's barely any that have played every game. And he kicks inside 50, a huge pack forming. Mark can't be taken by Kazitsky. Meek will get the footy, hand pass to Newcomb, who hand passes it across to Amon. He can kick it out to Ginnivan here, who can turn around and go. That's exactly what he does. Dumps the kick inside 50. Here comes Chol. He just swipes in, holds it for nearly long enough. Couldn't juggle the mark. Moore's there. He gets tackled. Hand passes away to Ginnivan through his legs. In comes Graham for the Tigers. Can hand pass across to Brown. And Brown will be able to kick the Tigers out of trouble.
Well, the mark is taken by Sonzi, centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side. At Campbell running into space. He ignores him. Pushes back behind his mark and plays on. And two minds decides to eventually just chip it back, and Jaden Short takes the mark.
Tommy Lynch should have been along down the line then, but he was about 80 metres away. There's no chance a young fella's going to be able to kick the ball that far, standing there with his hand up.
Just the one disposal for Tom Lynch so far this afternoon. The kick up towards Nankervis, who takes the mark. Worked his way to the front and claims the kick from Jaden Short. Wanted to give the hand pass around the back to Dan Rioli. He'd run past him though, so he turns and kicks it long inside 50. Up goes Sicily. The Hawthorn captain can't hang on. Diving on top, Kazitsky has to try and knock it out. Weddle's hand pass picked off by Taranto of the Tigers. Ball bumbles around. McKenzie slips as he tries to now reclaim the footy, and Dustin Martin can't break clear. It spills out to Graham. Umpire calls play on. Hand pass to Dow. Long to the goal square. Tom Lynch tried to wrestle it through. In the end, it was touched on the way through. As Lynch and Frost wrestled, and a minor score for the Tigers. So a 5-point Hawthorn lead at the 8-minute mark of the second quarter on ABC Sport. Here's Lauren Borden.
Carl Amon again with kicking duties for the Hawks. Chip short to the left back pocket to Massimo D'Ambrosio. He holds onto the footy and spins the ball, and then decides to bang it long. Choles at the front. If he can beat Miller out here, it doesn't get to them because Newcomb's ahead of him and holds onto the mark for the Hawks.
You've got Nick Watson and Vlosten ahead. They're going to go long in that direction.
It's exactly what Newcomb does. Watson's there. He's close to the boundary line. Can hold on to it. Keep it in. And hand pass to Day. Broad goes after him. Tries to sling him in a tackle. But Day keeps his feet. Kicks down. It'll bounce. In front of Chol. In front of Ginnivan. Ginnivan picks it up. And Ginnivan goals. Ginnivan with the snap from almost point-blank range. And the Hawks extend their lead back out to 11 points. It's Hawthorn 5-3-33 leading Richmond 3-4-22 after 9 minutes in the second quarter.
Well, a couple of really impressive things there by the Hawks. One, it was Will Day's strength, actually. He was tackled around the waist, but he didn't panic. He just shrugged off the, I think it was Broad in the end, banged the ball forward. And given he's a smart forward, smart footballer, and just used his hands to get rid of his Richmond opponent, made sure the ball hit the ground and rolled towards his goals where he was first one back onto it, and a lovely snap. And with he and Watson and Moore down there, it's dangerous when the ball hits the ground. And Mabior Chol dropped the last chest mark that went inside forward 50. If he starts marking those more often, and you've got those small players at his feet, it's going to be a dangerous forward line.
Up to 15 goals for the season. Jack Ginnivan behind Dylan Moore with 22. Back in the middle. Newcomb just tries to hurry it to half forward. Warple can't get a clean disposal away. Kazitsky for the Tigers to short through traffic to Shea Bolton. It opens up in front of him. He runs away from Lloyd Meek. Loops the hand pass over the top for Dan Rioli off the outside of the boot. Not his best effort. It trickles up towards Cumberland. Can't take it cleanly. Impey to Nash for the Hawks. Scrimshaw lost the footy. Opens the door for Graham. Hand pass to Dan Rioli. Works it back to Baker. A worm burner inside 50. It's chopped off by Newcomb. Hawthorn from halfback. He looks up and it's just Miller, the loose at halfback. He had an awkward bounce and couldn't take it. Dylan Moore gets his head taken off as the tackle from Miller, maybe strategic, but it did stop play at left half forward.
It does allow the Hawks forwards, the Richmond defenders rather, to get back to take up a Hawks forward. Doesn't matter though, because McDonald was all alone and able to take the mark 45 metres out from goals.
I think Miller thought, I need to slow this up somehow, and the harder that I can make that tackle and then lay on top of him gives my teammates a chance to get back. They did get back, but they all got close to goal and didn't realise that there was a player still outside near the 50-metre line. And tough shot for goal here. It's going to be kicking from around about 50, 45 degrees.
Connor McDonald, the 21-year-old, to kick from basically on the 50. It's a good-looking kick. And it's perfect. Connor McDonald makes Miller pay for his mistake. And the Hawks go ahead by a game-high 17 points at the 11.5-minute mark of the second quarter. It's Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Your expert, Nathan Burke.
Yeah, unfortunately, Liam Baker, he's been playing pretty well for the Tigers, but that was just a dead-set turnover. He kicked the ball straight into Newcomb's hands, into an open forward line. And I think part of who's going to win today is who can get the ball into an open forward line. Both teams are pretty adept at flooding numbers back on a slow play. And neither side has really dominating high marks in the forward line, so the ball's always going to come to ground. But if you can get the ball into an open forward line, that is when either team looks very, very dangerous. And at the moment, it's the Hawks capitalising on that the most.
2-1, Hawthorn's way in this second quarter, going at 83% by foot in this second turn. The umpire will ball it up just to the right of the centre circles as Kazitsky follows up his ruck duties. Tangling with Lloyd Meek as it's thrown in the air. Kazitsky knocks it down. Hand pass away to Tim Taranto. To McIntosh. Gives up ground. Back to Dan Rioli. Now all the way back to Miller. He fires the hand pass back to Rioli. Corralled by Kinnaman. Down low for McIntosh. Good clean pick up in front of Gunston. Kicks out in front of Campbell. Hardwick right there on his tail. A great centering ball. It opens up for Shea Bolton. He plays on. Gets inside 50 to steady and goals. Richmond answer back after a couple of goals on the run for the Hawks, and it's back to an 11-point margin Hawthorn's way. Shea Bolton on the board at the MCG. 6-3-39 the Hawks to the Tigers 4-4-28. 13 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport.
Well, Shea Bolton was doing the right thing. The ball was bumbling around out there on the wing. He just stayed in that centre corridor all by himself, and it's a risk and reward. Where's my opponent? He's probably over there trying to win the footy, but if my Richmond teammates can do the right thing and get the ball to me, well, then it's almost a certain goal. And I love what he did. He got the ball inside the centre square. He looked up. He took the responsibility completely on himself. There was no chance he was going to pass that ball. Ran forward, one bounce, settled and put it straight through from 45. Hanging in there, the Tigers. They're not going away, which is great.
It's been an entertaining contest so far, despite their ladder positions as the ball's tossed up. Moore just pulls it out, kicks it in the Ginnivan direction inside 50, over the top of him. Day can try and get it. He's in a tussle with Broad. Both go after the footy and they lock it together. The umpire will come and throw the ball up 35 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
Will Day's pushed into the forward line and Dylan Moore's gone into the centre bounce.
Hunt Road end of the MCG. Meek tries to tap it away towards Ginnivan. He's tackled by Voston the moment he gets it, and we'll have another ball up in the same position. So the Hawks with an 11-point lead. The ball gets tossed up. Kazitsky tries to tap it away. He has to go back and tussle with Warple to get the footy. He tackles Warple. Ball will spill out. This time it's Brown with it. And again, he's mobbed by players and tackled. And we'll have another ball up 35 metres out from the Hawks' goal as we head down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
The Richmond faithful are certainly up and about every time they get the ball. There's lots of Dustin Martin haircuts, and I'm probably glad there wasn't a tattooist outside the MCG.
Campbell for the Tigers, winks up with Thompson down, kicks up towards Cumberland, but Scrimshaw is well set in front. The Hawks defender takes the mark centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side. Hawthorn leading by 11 points. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Ian Cohen down on the boundary. Nathan Burke, your commentary team on ABC Sport. As Hardwick receives it at right half back. New contract for him as he works it to Weddle into the middle of the ground for Newcomb. Just takes it with his fingertips in front of Toby Nankervis. Centre wing on the members' side.
It's a good kick, that one. He's a hard man to lob the ball over, Toby Nankervis, but it was perfect.
Newcomb has Meek deep and Deer as well. Sends it in that direction. Kazitsky wrestles with Meek. It spills out to McKenzie. Hand pass to Watson. Looking for the high contact. He got it. As Miller's tackle slipped over the shoulder. And Nick Watson, I think he worked out he was on a slightly bigger opponent and made that work. Deep in the left forward pocket. Only a couple of steps in front of the Richmond faithful in the Olympic stand.
Yeah, there's no doubt he played for that one. He's picked up the footy, saw a play coming, held the ball in his right hand, lifted the left elbow up, got it over the shoulder, and shouldn't have been a free kick. I hate those ones.
This has been the challenge. 4-11 for the Wizards so far this season. It's across the face of goal and misses to the right-hand side. I'm not sure you can claim to be the Wizard when you kick 4-12, but maybe the nickname will grow. Hawthorn by 12 points at the 16-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, all it deserved. Umpires have got to be smarter when they see that he had the ball in one arm. If you put the ball in one arm, well, then the other hand that's free can actually punch it and handball it, not just take the tackle.
Rioli with the kick in. He goes outside defensive 50 for Richmond, but it's Josh Weddle sitting back there to take the mark for the Hawks.
He's having a fantastic season, this fella. Really, really good footballer.
So Weddle with his mullet kicks long inside, attacking 50 for the Hawks. Up flew McDonald, couldn't come down with the mark. Broad goes past it. Ginnivan's there. He takes a tackle from 3 Richmond players. The umpire will cross his arms and throw the ball up 15 metres out from Hawthorn's attacking goal.
I think he's complaining for a high free kick as well.
Thrown up, Meakin, Nankervis. Baker can't pick up the footy. It'll be McDonald charging through to pick up the footy again. He's taken in a tackle by 3 Richmond players. We'll have another ball up, this time 20 metres out from Hawks' goals.
A lot of numbers around this stoppage as Meat wins down the tap. Warple tries to throw it on the boot. It's partially smothered by McIntosh. Deers hand pass picked off by Taranto. Richmond puts it out in front of McIntosh. Coming the other direction was Sicily. Camden McIntosh stood his ground. He was taken high, says the umpire, as the ball had volleyed forward. So the free kick will come back and the Richmond fans will get to cheer.
That's how you get a free kick that's too high. You attack the ball really hard. You don't put your head down. You just run straight through the line of it. Well done, McIntosh, showing the others how to do it.
Short to Nick Blostone at left half back, who's going to turn and come inboard to Noah Bolter. He started the season as a forward, back into his natural territory in defence. Switches to the right back pocket and Broad takes the mark. A couple of the Premiership Tigers all combining as Dan Rioli marks at right half back. Amarat asks the question on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Haven't heard a lot of Dustin Martin's name called since that opening goal. He's had the 5 disposals so far for the match, but hasn't featured heavily. The kick up towards half forward for the Tigers. James Sicily was well situated. Toby Nankervis couldn't get in front. The kick into the middle of the ground for Newcombe. It opens up. Hand pass not great for Jarman Impey. The Tigers knock it down. And Graham gets a hand pass. Here's Martin on cue. Looks up to right half forward. Sonsi on the half volley. Hand pass to Ralph Smith. Great tackle. Day with a lunging effort wins the free kick. Holding the ball. And Hawthorn fans who love Will Day will love that desperate act.
Super tackle. Although the ball did hit Ralph Smith's foot. It didn't hit it solidly, but it did hit his foot.
So Day down to Scrimshaw. He's got some time, takes a bounce and then kicks towards Impey. Southern side of the MCG. Impey plays on quickly towards Jath. Kicks down to the corner of the centre square. Here's Bolter for Richmond. He takes the ball and then he takes the tackle, gets a hand pass away. Boston holds on to the footy and he takes the tackle, but the umpire won't pay holding the ball. Just be a throw up 40 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
There was 4 Hawthorn players sitting on top of him then. That's how desperate they are when that ball's inside their forward 50.
Nankervis quickly palms it away to Dow, shoves it on his boot and gets it out of defensive 50, but only as far as Impey, who hand passes to Scrimshaw, can't take it cleanly. Campbell tries to affect it. Scrimshaw can pick it up and hand pass in the Jaff direction. Close to the boundary line, he's beaten to the footy by Tom Brown, and he'll take it over with Jaff right on his tails, but we'll have a throw in between wing and half forward for the Hawks. They're leading by 12 points in the second term.
Just haven't been able to get away, the Hawks. The Tigers are hanging in there, which is fantastic.
Hawthorn by 12 points. Margin got out to 17 points in this second quarter as it's thrown back in. Nankervis can't take it. Nash was tackled. Had it for a little while. Didn't get boots of ball as Baker laid the tackle. Graham tries to shovel a hand pass forward. Newcombe for Hawthorn. Tackle by Baker. Lost the footy. Sicily off the outside of the boot. Nash with a big bump on Campbell. Trying to clear a path. It's Campbell, though, who wins the footy back for Richmond. Hand pass to McIntosh. Turns and chips it inboard. Thompson Down takes the mark. The brother of Paddy Down, a former Blue now with the Saints. He has it at left half back. Getting his opportunities in 2024. Not his best kick, though, although Brown made it work on the half volley. Kicks Richmond up towards half forward. Koschitzki was well set, but Scrimshaw floating in front takes the mark and quickly moves it to Nash.
Nash marks at the back edge of the centre square. And again, happy to hold on to the footy here before he decides to go defensively. Chips it backwards towards Amon, who drops the mark, but he's got plenty of space to recover and pick it up. And then he'll kick towards Weddle, top of the 50, takes the mark, even though Broad was encroaching upon him. Hand pass to Moore. Hand passes back to Weddle, who flicks it to Nash. Nash can move it backwards by hands to Sicily. Will go by foot this time towards Day. Centre half forward is Will Day. Kick inside 50. He's got Chol standing there all alone in the pocket. And Chol marks it. And he'll have another set shot at goal.
We'll take about James Sicily because he had players out on the wing and on the half forward line, and he chose a really, really difficult kick just over the top to Will Day, who could then turn and get the ball inside his forward line deep. 99% of players would have kicked that ball out to the wing, but Sicily just bit off not more than he could chew because it was an outstanding kick.
So Chol with snap from the pocket. It'll be a goal. He's snuck that through. It looked like he missed, but Chol will have two. And he gets high fives from his teammates. Now at his third club, Chol, and 2 in today's match. Hawthorn's lead out to 18 points, 7-4-46, leading Richmond 4-4-28.
I thought they almost overdid it on their half-back line there, the Hawks. They were mucking around with the ball a little bit, but when a player got in trouble, they always had somebody in support. Weddle just got involved 2-3 times, and eventually, as I called it, Sicily's kick into the middle there to Will Day was outstanding, and then he just turned off one step, put it 60 metres down the throat of Chol, and I'm not sure whether snapping the ball around on his left foot is maybe or Chol's sort of his one wood, but he did it well then. The ball looked like a bit of a wounded duck going through, but he got the 6 points.
At his third club, the former Tiger and Gold Coast son, Lloyd Meek back in the middle of the ground, gets the clearance of Hawthorn. Hand pass to Nash, kicks inside 50. Watson leaning back, was able to read it best as he made body contact with Tom Brown, and leaning back takes an impressive mark directly in front, 35 metres out from goal. Is this his moment?
Well, it's an outstanding contested mark. He had the back position. He just pushed his player underneath the ball and then quite courageously sort of dived backwards, marking the footy, knowing that there was a whole bunch of big fellas coming like a herd of elephants behind him. He kept his eyes on the footy. Can he finish?
He's listed at 170 centimetres. He looks small out there. But now's the hard part. 4-12 for Nick Watson, and he drags it left. The opportunity goes begging after such a great mark. And Hawthorn have the lead by 19 points, but it could be a little more than that. 23 minutes gone. Second quarter on ABC Sport, and a few of the Tigers players happy to let the young Hawk know about it.
There's a clear issue with his goal kicking. He collapses his left foot and leans over to the left and drags the ball to the right. So hopefully somebody can just say, hey, mate, just stand up straight when you have a shot for goal. That'll help him.
So Richmond with a series of kicks move it out of their defence until it gets to Short, who'll now switch the kick right across the defensive 50. Dangerous kick. Watson can impact it by bringing it down to ground. Bolter's there for the Tigers, though, to clean up the footy, but it'll be a free kick coming all the way back to Watson.
I got no idea why Watson gets a free kick in that situation.
So it was something off the ball.
No, he caught it in the marking contest. He said that Nick Watson was the one actually coming back with the flight of the ball. If anything, it should have been front-on contact against Nick Watson. It was a long looping switch kick.
I think the umpires deemed Tom Brown dragged him down.
Yeah.
Not a lot in it, though.
No, it made it look worse than it was.
I don't think many of the almost 85,000 here today really picked that free kick, but the ball will come back to Watson for another shot at goal. On the right foot, he's got it across the face of goal for just a minor score, and you can hear the Richmond fans cheering that one. Another miss from Nick Watson from a free kick they don't think he deserves. So it's Hawthorn now ahead by 20 points, 25 minutes gone, second term.
Again, same thing. Moves out to the right, collapses the left leg and drags it over to the left. Just run straight, drop it straight, kick it straight, young fella.
He's cursing himself. The 19-year-old young Hawk, he's got 3 behinds next to his name. And Hawthorn lead by 20 points. It could be a little more than that, though. Nick Florstone kicks up towards Tom Lynch, who takes a towering mark at left half back. Just his second disposal of the match coming up. His first mark as he gets the hand pass out to Short, who kicks up to Dustin Martin. And the Richmond fans will give him a cheer throughout the afternoon and the evening. Just gestures with his left hand. He's not going backwards, he's only going forwards, which has been his story of his whole career. Up towards the efforts of Cumberland. He can't quite take the mark. Ball spills to the ground. Cumberland tries to knock it out. Unable to take it down. It spills to Baker. Tackled by Impey. Didn't get a disposal away. Holding the ball. And Jarman Impey wins the free kick for Hawthorn, 45 metres out from their defensive goal. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Have a look at Blake Hardwick there. He, in that marking contest, came down very heavily on the left leg and is hobbling down there at centre half back.
Thanks, Koza. Just watching him now, looks like he might be trying to hobble away in your direction. With the ball at left half back with Scrimshaw, he'll kick backwards to Impey. He'll kick right back to the defensive goal square to James Sicily. Now he'll go on a little jog, take a bounce. He has to make a decision about what to do. Decides to go outside of defensive 50, edge of the centre square. Nash will come in to take the mark. Quickly plays on and hand passes to Jath, who takes a bounce in the centre of the MCG, then kicks out in the D'Ambrosio direction. Switching across to the member side of the MCG, kicks to Nash. Hand passes to Hardwick, who stayed on the field. He can get it to D'Ambrosio. Hand passes it back to Moore. Moore will go inside 50, left forward pocket towards Gunston, but it's Tom Brown who easily read that for the Tigers. Picked off the mark and will switch across to the outer side of the ground to McIntosh, who'll now move it to Seth Campbell along the wing.
And he has plenty of space as he looks up around the Shane Warne stand win. Finds Shea Bolton, who takes the mark. Centre wing. Chips it inboard over the head of Graham on the bounce for Dow. Hand pass to Dan Rioli. Broke through a Warple tackle. Hand pass to Shea Bolton, top of the attacking centre square. Just a little fumbly with a hand pass to Dan Rioli, who gets the hand pass to McIntosh, to Martin, over the fingertips of Shea Bolton. Weddle didn't, Scrimshaw didn't clear it. Shea Bolton fends off the tackle, kicks towards goal, through for a minor score to the left. And Sam Frost gets a hand onto it. Tigers had plenty of disposals, just couldn't get it in the right hands. Hawthorn by 19 points, 27 minutes gone in the second quarter.
They were waiting for one of their big fellas to lead at them, but they were just standing there with a hand in there. Tommy Lynch has got to get on his bike and start offering a bit better target at the moment.
So Hardwick stayed on the field and he's kicked to D'Ambrosio, then received the ball back from the former Bomber. He'll chip to James Sicily. Right back pocket for the Hawks. Just chewing down a little bit of time as we edge towards the main break.
Jack Gunston yet to touch the football. I think Luke Bruce, who's a sub, has had more of an impact than Jack Gunston at this point in time.
He might have. To Scrimshaw. And then Scrimshaw goes back to Sicily, who finally moves the ball out of defence. And it's Nash who can hold on to the mark. County Meath, with his bit of his height, holds on to the ball and just chips further afield ahead of him. Here he is. Here's Gunston. With a possession finally, can kick towards Amon. Hawthorn might be able to get a goal here late. Kicks down to Ginnivan, but the siren will sound with Ginnivan holding the footy at right half forward for the Hawks. And it's his Hawks who have built on their 12-point quarter-time lead now, leading by 19 points after a 3-2 quarter there against Richmond. It's Hawthorn 7-6-48, leading Richmond 4-5-29. Plenty of goal kickers today. The only multiple goal kicker so far is Mabior Chol for Hawthorn. Singles to McDonald, Ginnivan, Deer, Moore and Newcombe. While for Richmond, it's Martin with the first goal of the match, then Taranto, Kaczynski and Bolton, each the goal kickers for the Tigers today.
Lauren Borden and Matt Clinch calling the action, and Cohen down on the boundary. The thoughts of Australian Football Hall of Fame member, the St Kilda champion, Nathan Burke, your expert.
Well, if you look at the stats, it was a fairly even quarter. The Tigers won the clearances, sort of 9-3, inside 50s in favour of the Hawks by 3 in that quarter, to 28-20 at half-time all up. Time in forward half, though, 61% to 39% in favour of the Hawks. It just seemed like they dominated field position for large parts of the game, and when the Tigers did manage to get the ball to their half-forward line, Weddle and these blokes just sort of rebounded very, very easily, and you get the sense that if the Tigers can figure out that connection between midfield and inside their forward 50, well, then they have the opportunity to score really heavily. Down the other end for the Tigers, as we said, Tommy Lynch came up onto the wing and took a nice contested mark, but really hasn't been sighted from that. He needs to get back to just playing just like a standard full forward role. When the ball's coming through the middle of the ground, I start deep and I lead forward. Sam Frost is not a guy who likes to generally play in front. He'll play back shoulder a fair bit. So if Lynch can start leading and start giving his guys coming through the middle a better target, I think that's going to straighten the Tigers up, because several times they have got the ball through that centre corridor, but they've overused it, looking for a good target up forward, looking for that perfect target. they're reluctant to bomb the ball because you've got Sicily and Frost and these blokes down there and Weddle coming in. So quite rightly, they're trying to hit a target. But if those targets don't present themselves, then they get tackled, turn the ball over, and away the Hawks go. So for me, if I'm Adam Uzo, I'm saying, hey, Kazitsky, Lynch, you've got to get on your bike and start giving better targets to when we get the ball freely through the middle of the ground, because they are trying to use the corridor and take the game on, which is what I really like. For the Hawks, of course, our half-back line, they're really, really dominant, getting the ball through the middle. A little bit scrappy going inside forward 50. We haven't seen a lot of marks inside forward 50 today. Most of the goals have come from general play. They've just come from a scrubber inside forward 50, and the small fellas are going to work. So I think if Marbior Chol can really put his Tony Lockett hat on and just go, I'm going to be that big fella. I'm going to come leading out. I'm going to create a contest, and if I don't mark it, well, then the three small blokes are going to be at my feet. And just old-fashioned football. I either mark it, bring it to ground, small players there, and get lots of goals. But they're trying to all run in different directions and create too much.
The inside 50's Hawthorn's way, 28-20. But as you said, the Hawks have taken 6 marks inside 50 to Richmond's 3. If you're a Hawthorn fan, you'd be pretty happy with the future in the hands of Will Day, Josh Weddle.
Yep.
There's some promising signs there, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely. And Day and even the young blokes. Yeah, Warple's not that old, and you've got who's the other one that I really like? 22 years of
John
age. Newcombe is the one that I really like. I just think his work rate is amazing. He's probably not going to do the flashy stuff. Will Day reminds me of a Marcus Bontempelli type. Doesn't look like he's hurried, doesn't look like he's going too fast, but just finds that extra bit of space, whereas John Newcombe is more your in and under liver type of player. And as we've seen with the Western Bulldogs, those two in conjunction when they're playing well makes a huge difference for the side, and I think they can be the Bont liver for the Hawks for the next generation, which is going to be great to watch if you're a Hawthorn fan.
They've got the 3 guys over the age of 30, Sam Frost alongside Jack Gunston and Luke Bruce. But apart from that, Sam Mitchell has these kids developing probably ahead of time, and it's the Hawks who lead by 19 points in Dustin Martin's 300th match, 7-6-48 to the Tigers 4-5-29, in which Dusty kicked the first goal of the match, but it's been the Hawks from that point onwards by 12 points at quarter time and now by 19 at half time. We'll pause from the MCG and get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
This is ABC News with David Rowlands. China's Premier Li Qiang will arrive in Adelaide shortly, the first visit to Australia by a Chinese Premier since 2017. He spent the last couple of days in New Zealand talking up ties between Beijing and Wellington. While in Australia, Premier Li will visit Adelaide, Canberra and Perth. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says considerable progress has been made in stabilising the relationship between Australia and China since Labor took office in 2022.
We disagree with the administration when we need to. We engage where we can, and I think we've seen some of the fruits of that, certainly in terms of the economy over the last couple of years.
One of Australia's largest steel manufacturers says a wind zone approved off the New South Wales coast will be important in helping its transition to clean energy, even though the project's scale has been reduced. The federal government has now approved a wind zone 20 kilometres off the Illawarra coast. It's 1/3 smaller than originally proposed, but the government says it could generate up to 3 gigawatts of power, enough for 1.8 million homes. The wind zone will help power Port Kembla, home to steel manufacturer BlueScope. The company's general manager of manufacturing, Dave Scott, says the wind zone will be part of an energy mix that will help the company decarbonise.
The transition to green energy and steelmaking is complex, relying on changes in technology and critical enablers that will need to be established. So we know that we will need large amounts of renewable energy to meet our greenhouse gas emissions intensity reduction targets and to achieve our goal of net zero by 2050.
Staying in New South Wales, where 5 teenagers have been charged with a string of break and enter and car theft offences in Sydney's west. Melissa McKay has the story.
New South Wales Police say 5 young people ran from a petrol station in Pendle Hill after officers spotted an allegedly stolen Maserati sports car around 12:30 yesterday morning. One 17-year-old boy was tasered and a second was bitten by a police dog as officers arrested the group. One 17-year-old faced Children's Court yesterday and was refused bail. The second was granted bail to appear before court next month. One of the 3 16-year-old boys was charged with various offences, including breaching bail conditions. 2 police officers sustained minor injuries during the arrests and were taken to Auburn Hospital for treatment.
Additional funding of $12 million for domestic violence in the upcoming ACT budget has been welcomed by advocates who say it's a tough time to be in the sector. A handful of organisations, including Violence Prevention Services, which work with perpetrators, will share in the funding. Domestic Violence Crisis Centre head Sue Webeck acknowledged the current Australian environment in which 34 women have lost their lives to gendered violence this year and that it's taking its toll on the community.
We need hope. It is really hard for frontline service agencies to turn up day after day, and even harder for people in our community who are experiencing domestic, family, intimate partner or sexual violence to continue to live their lives.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in Switzerland ahead of talks aimed at a peace settlement to end the war between Ukraine and Russia. Dozens of world leaders are expected to attend the weekend of talks at a secluded Swiss resort above Lake Lucerne, with thousands of soldiers and police deployed for security. Although China is not attending and Russia hasn't been invited, the Swiss hosts hope the talks may produce a first tentative sketch for a peace process. It's now well over 2 years since fighting began after Russia launched an invasion of neighbouring Ukraine. The Pope has tried a few jokes of his own while meeting top comedians from across the world. He's hosted more than 100 comics at the Vatican to celebrate the importance of humour. Comedians who met Pope Francis include Whoopi Goldberg, Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon. To sport, and Kate Campbell will have one last shot at heading to a record 5th Olympics at the Australian Swimming Trials in Brisbane tonight. ABC Sports' Amanda Shalala has this preview.
After missing the final of the 100 freestyle, Campbell qualified 6th fastest for tonight's 50 free final. The 4-time Olympic gold medalist will have to finish in the top 2 to secure her place in Paris. Shayna Jack is the fastest qualifier. Other big names, including Emma McKeon, Bronte Campbell and Molly O'Callaghan, will also line up. Pop star Cody Simpson is still a chance of making his first Olympics. He's into the final of the men's 100 butterfly. Tonight's other finals include the men's and women's 400 individual medley and the women's 1500 freestyle.
It's the most magical time of the year, right? Footy season. This season you can get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. Unbelievable. AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered. Every goal, try, mark and tackle, called by ABC Sports expert commentary team. Set, bingo! 100% pure footy, live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Kaczynski down low. Takes the mark directly in front against his former side. Kaczynski comes in, leans back and steers it straight through the middle.
Dave keeps his feet, kicks down, it'll bounce in front of Chol, in front of Ginnivan. Ginnivan picks it up and Ginnivan goals. Connor McDonald, the 21-year-old, to kick from basically on the 50. It's a good-looking kick and it's perfect. Connor McDonald makes Miller pay for his mistake. Dave kick inside 50. He's got Chol standing there all alone in the pocket. And he'll have another set shot at goal. So Chol with snap from the pocket. It'll be a goal. He's snuck that through.
Campbell, hardly done right there on his tail. A great centering ball. It opens up for Shea Bolton. He plays on, gets inside 50 to steady and goals.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Kaczynski down low. Takes the mark directly. Half-time at the MCG, it's Hawthorn lead by 19 points in Dustin Martin's 300 match, looking to spoil the party. 7-6-48 to the Tigers, 4-5-29. After Hawthorn led by 12 points at quarter time, they lead by 19 at the main break. It did get out as much as 17 points in that second quarter. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Ian Cohen is down on the boundary. The St Kilda champion, Australian Hall of Fame member, Nathan Burke, your expert. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Fran has been in touch, a regular listener. Congratulations to Dustin Martin. I'm so sorry he doesn't have his father to celebrate this great day with him. He has a lot of good friends to fill the void. And Dean says, I reckon Warnie's wing sounds better. I think we reference it as the Shane Warne win, but we're with you, Dean, and please don't mention the Dockers scoreline again. Well, yeah, it was a pretty disappointing afternoon for Freo fans. The Bulldogs winners by 67 points, in which Marcus Bontempelli got the 3 votes in the ABC Football of the Year for his 3 goals and 30 disposals. But Berkey, a disappointing day for the Dockers fans, coming to Melbourne and not quite up to the occasion.
Yeah, right. Look, they had a glimpse right at the start. They kicked I think the Dogs kicked the first and they'd piled on 4 in a row, and the thinking, hey, here they go. They look pretty good. When they got the ball on the outside and they were running, they were outstanding. And then I think it was an old fella named Liberatore that just sort of really wrestled up and started to win the contested ball, and then his teammates jumped on board with that winning the contested footy. And the Dockers had no answer. They couldn't get the ball on the outside and couldn't get any free run. And from then on, it was just all the Western Bulldogs.
It certainly was. They ended up kicking 23 goals, 11-1-49 to the Dockers, 12-10-82. Still to come tonight, the Adelaide Crows take on the Sydney Swans from the Adelaide Oval. So for our South Australian listeners, you'll depart as soon as we get through the final siren for all the build-up there. The Crows looking to try and bounce back after a disappointing loss last week to the Tigers, and the questions around Matthew Nicks. And the Sydney Swans, well, they're just flying out in front at the moment. So John Longmire's Chargers, after a good win last week, coming off the bye against the Cats. So everything has been clicking for John Longmire. All of a sudden they're, 2 games out in front, 44 points. The Blues in second position with 36 points. And he'd have to be the All-Australian Coach of the Year so far, wouldn't he, John Longmire? It's normally the premiership coach, but he has done so much right. And their 150th year, the Swans celebrating as well, so it hasn't been as much made of the occasion, but they're doing everything right so far.
Yeah, look, I think it's wide open for a team to get on a roll, and it could be Sam Mitchell. The Hawks continue this roll on. Obviously, Adam Kingsley started off like a house on fire and dropped away. I think they're the one consistent coach through the whole season has obviously been John Longmire, and I think they are the best team going around at the moment, and that's why they're sitting on top of the ladder. Might not have the big superstars at either end of the ground like some teams have got, but they're certainly the best team running around.
Now, we mentioned the occasions today. Dustin Martin playing his 300th game. Chankov Jaff playing in his 50th game. It's also one for our own Ian Burrows, who's the chief producer for the Asia Pacific Network. As a boundary umpire, he becomes just the 13th umpire and 4th boundary umpire to reach 400 games. So congratulations to Buzz, and on behalf of all the ABC team, great to see him charging through the 400 barrier, which is a lot of games to be involved in, Berkey. That is a lot.
It is a lot of games. It's 400.
I saw
I'm just thinking, running around the outside, as to how many weeks of training that is just to feature in 400 games.
Well, it's easier now. Isn't there 4 of them? There's 2 on either side.
There is 4 of them now. It has got a little easier, but
I think back to the old days when one guy had to run from that point post to that point post non-stop for the whole day. They were boundary umpires, not these guys these days. But 400 games, it's a mighty effort of endurance.
So he joined Corbin and Ben on Thursday. If you want to go back and have a listen to the interview, it's available under the Best of ABC Sport, wherever you get your podcast from. But he was allowed around, I think it was 20 family and friends to come along to honour the occasion. Thought I'll pick a random MCG game. Richmond Hawthorn next minute. It's Dustin Martin's 300th game, and he's picked the big Saturday afternoon, Saturday night of the weekend. So congratulations to Ian Burrows.
On choosing a game, Berkey, Dustin Martin didn't play last week, a bit of inverted commas illness. You didn't get a chance to say, no, I don't want to play my 300th game in Canberra in front of 8,000 people?
No, I didn't get a choice. My 250th was in Brisbane, and I think my 200th was also interstate somewhere. So, no, the thought of actually missing a game was almost as bad as chopping a leg off.
Yep.
To me at the time, you didn't know how many you're going to play after. Certainly when you get around 300, you think, the end is in sight. it was hitting me very, very quickly at that point. So, the thought of missing one was never going to get into my into my mind.
Anything special for the 300?
No, not really.
A bottle of red wine or something, jumper signed?
No. I think we just went up to Canberra and played. We got done by North Melbourne and we got on the plane and came home again. 2 weeks later, I did my knee and didn't play for the rest of the year. So
luckily you ticked off.
Luckily I ticked that one off, absolutely.
If you want to join us throughout the match, 0437 774 774 is the SMS line. Just let us know your name and where you're listening from. I mentioned the podcast we've got on offer, Laura. So we have, of course, the ABC Sport Tennis podcast with Catherine Murphy, John Millman and John Alexander. If you're a fan of the AFL and the NRL, there's an ABC AFL Daily podcast and an NRL Daily podcast now. So Catherine Murphy and Paul Roos. I jump in on a Tuesday and we discuss all the footy issues doing the rounds. So no shortage of sporting action available on the ABC Listen app. And the, of course, Cricket World Cup, which is taking place from the US and the Caribbean. Some big results which has taken place over the last 24 hours with South Africa prevailing over Nepal by a run. It's been a low-scoring World Cup with some of the pitches in America being questioned. New Zealand won by 9 wickets. Uganda only scoring 40 runs. From there, 19 overs. New Zealand made it 1 for 41. And tonight, it's India and Canada taking place. So there's been some surprise results. The USA are through to the Super 8. So they've been the Cinderella story so far in their home World Cup. So not sure they know that much, the locals, about cricket in the US of A. But if they can continue on, maybe they will learn a little bit more. And I did mention the Grandstand Cricket podcast as well, with Corbin Middlemass and Ed Cowan breaking it down for you each Monday as to what the Australians are doing, as to whether they want to try and do England any favours against Scotland or whether they're keen to leave them out to dry.
Do you reckon Josh Hazelwood regretting that little conversation that floated through his head?
Normally the way it works is when you make comments like that saying you'd be happy to sort of drop a game in order to make sure England don't get through to the Super 8, someone from the media department just comes and taps you on the shoulder and just says, sometimes we can't pick up sort of dry wit or humour in press conferences, so maybe just don't be so blunt when you make those sort of comments. And I think he would have been told by a couple of his teammates as well. But we love the rivalry with the Poms, don't we?
Oh, it's anything that set the Poms off, and it certainly did. But looking at some of the chat things around the cricket, and once the Yanks made the Super 8, most of the comments were, we have a cricket team.
Yeah.
But, you know, as we said, Pat Cummins is now signed with an American cricket franchise to play in their season over there. So it's a whole brand new big frontier. And if they like baseball, well, they'll certainly like T20 because it's more exciting than that.
It really is a 12-month-a-year sport now. When you think of the various tournaments that take place around the world, the one in the United States, the IPL goes for longer and longer. So it's all covered on the ABC Listen app. If you're looking for the AFL or the NRL, just look for the designated button for the AFL and the NRL you can find on the ABC Sport button. I should mention in the NRL taking place this weekend, round 15. In the matches which has taken place today, the West Tigers had a 18 points to 10 win over the Gold Coast Titans, and the Melbourne Storm in action, but it's the Warriors who lead 14 points to 6. Players are back in position. We're ready to go for the second half. It's Hawthorn who lead by 19 points. Here's Lauren Borden on ABC Sport.
Umpire bounces the ball right in the middle. Again, it's Nankervis and Meek in there. They push it away. Meek will chase after it, be the first one to the footy. Can't get down low enough to pick it up. McIntosh comes in there. Hand pass quickly goes away. McDonald picks it up and hand passes it to Warple. Puts Hawthorn inside 50 to a pack. At the back is Gunston. He might be able to run onto it. Here's Watson. Gets the footy. Trips over. Has to hand pass to Gunston in the left forward pocket. He takes the broad tackle and he's happy to just hold things up 20 metres out from the Hawks' goal, kicking towards the city end of the MCG. So we'll have a ball up here as the umpire waits for Meek and Nankervis to make their way down to the pocket. Nankervis taps it away. Taranto shoves the kick away with a clearing kick outside of defensive 50. Weddle goes to mark it and he'll get the free kick as well. Might have been taken just slightly high there by Campbell.
It's soft.
So Weddle will hold on to the footy at half forward. He dodges around Campbell and just goes with a short kick inside 50. One bounce before it gets to Moore, keeps the ball in. He hand passes it away. But it was too close for Meek to the boundary line, so it'll be a throw in 20 metres around from Hawthorn's goal, ahead by 19 points early in the second half.
At the city end of the MCG, with Hawthorn leading by 19 as it's spinning back into play. Meek and Nankervis. Nankervis wins it down to the front. Jaden Short Could have been taken high. He got his hand pass over his shoulder to Short. To Baker, and then the hand pass to Vlauston. Links up with Ralph Smith in the right back pocket. Kicks up towards Kazitsky. Through the hands of Sicily, the Hawthorn captain. Scrimshaw puts a block on Lynch. Sicily gathers, turns it towards Newcomb, who marks in the middle of the ground. Across half back. He works it into the middle of the ground, and Carl Amon takes the mark. So just about everyone in Richmond jumpers in front of him as he goes short to Jarman Empey. To the right of the centre circles. So Hawthorn now with a slow build-up. A driving kick inside 50 towards Chol and Kalshadir. Deer can't take the mark. Nankervis gathers for Richmond. Hand pass to Broad. To McIntosh. Back to Broad. At left half back. Works a hand pass over the top to Dan Rioli. Slipped over. Had to get it back to McIntosh. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Awkward ball for Baker. A chance for Newcomb for the Hawks. He dinks a left kick inside 50. Looking for Jaff, who takes the mark. Bouncing into Ralph Smith. Just inside 50 in that famous number 9. I think he's looking to give it off.
And all the Hawthorn players around him are coming past for the handball. They haven't got a lot of faith in him, but the man on the mark is right on 49 metres, dead in front. Let's see what he can do.
Just 3 goals in his AFL career as he celebrates his 50th game. Kicked it behind earlier in the match from directly in front. 50 metres out. Jaff sets fly. It's out to the left. There won't be a goal. A minor score. 20 points as the Hawks lead. 3 minutes gone. Third quarter on ABC Sport.
He got the distance okay. Just went over the fence, but hooked it, trying to get that extra distance. And it's great to see him playing on the wing these days, so we can really use his athleticism. Started off playing as that defender, just learning how the game was being played, but now up on the wing.
Finally reached 50 games. He's been drafted back in 2017. A lot of injuries for Jaff, but has got his body right so far this year. This ball comes out to the wing and it'll be Hawthorn who are trying to bring it back. Warple overruns the footy. Ralph Smith there for the Tigers. Hand passes it away to Baker. Looks behind him to Graham, who flicks it across to Vlauston. He'll go defensively now with a kick. There's 3 Tigers chasing after it in defensive 50. It'll be picked up by Mansell, who darts around. It's short rather. And then he darts a kick forward towards Bolter. Might be the steadying hands here for Richmond. Left half back, long kick down all the way to half forward. Kazitsky marks, then goes to play on. What will the umpire say here? Let Kazitsky go back and hold on to the footy, even though he played on as Scrimshaw tried to attack him. Inside 50, up go the Hawks. Amon's at the back though for Hawthorn. Defensively, can hand pass it away to McDonald. He kicks out of 50, but it'll be a mark taken by Kazitsky and will be coming back in.
I'll get it back in quicker.
Kazitsky drives it long in the direction of Tom Lynch, wrestling in the goal square. It clears Weddle and Frost. Lynch thought he was held. The umpire agrees. Advantage is taken, and Campbell from millimetres out puts it through for the first goal of the third quarter. 4 minutes gone. Tom Lynch had a fair case there. And the Tigers have the opening goal. The margin back to 14 points Hawthorn's way. 7-7-49 the Hawks, and the Tigers 5-5-35. Seth Campbell becomes the 5th individual goal kicker for the Tigers.
I thought Kazitsky might have just taken a little bit too long to get the ball back in there. He wasn't in a bit of a hurry, but I think his players were yelling at him to get it in there before Hawks could flood back. When he eventually did, it just put, I think it was Frost, under just a little bit too much pressure. He grabbed the right arm of Lynch on top of the goal square, and it was a play on. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a play on. I think probably would have done Richmond's psyche a lot if Lynch hadn't been given that free kick and gone back and put it through himself. But either way, it's a goal on the scoreboard. They just don't get it from Lynch.
So Lynch still just with a couple of touches in the heading into the third term. Baker with the footy can hand pass it across to Vlauston. He'll kick to the broadcast side of the ground, marked by Short. Going in the McIntosh direction, doesn't meet him. D'Ambrosio standing in the way, marks for Hawthorn. Kicks to McDonald, back edge of the centre square.
Tigers had the ball in the corridor, but just looked wide twice instead of just going straight down the middle.
McDonald's got Weddle in some space, and he goes shorter than that towards Sicily at left half back. He's always in the long sleeves, and Sicily will go down back to D'Ambrosio in front of the interchange gates. Ahead of him, D'Ambrosio's got Watson at half forward, Deer as well. But no strong leads coming that he wants to favour. So he gets told to play on by the umpire and just launches it to the top of the 50, seeing if a mark can be taken, and it can. But it's Bolter for the Tigers, who plays on and kicks to McIntosh.
McIntosh marks on the member side of the MCG. Veers onto his right, kicks up towards Sonsi. Sicily in from the side. Off hands, Impey knocks it to the advantage of Weddle. Hand pass back to James Sicily. The Hawthorn captain at right half-back. One way, then the other. Gives the hand pass to Will Day. Just always looks like he's got time as Taranto comes charging at him. Hand pass to Sicily. He feigns a hand pass around Shea Bolton. He kicks up towards the wing. Noel Bolter read it best. He marks in front of Marbiel Chol. Turns and kicks back. Risky kick. Watson pinches it. He had no one in front of him though. Had to get the hand pass forward in front of Short. Miller-Ross's chase. Watson runs out of room and the Tigers respond as Jaden Short gathers. Hand pass to Graham. Works it back to Miller, who turns and kicks it back to Nathan Broad. They're a little rattled after the Watson almost pinched it and ran into the open goal.
Jaden Short's a beautiful kick of the footy. He's streaming down the middle. He handballs to a guy with his back towards goal and they've got to go backwards.
Boston kicks down towards Lynch. He brought the footy to ground and then Graham can pick it up. Hand pass back to Brown and then chip it forward. Newcomb's there to collect though. At half back, hand passes to Hardwick, who goes further backwards to Sicily. This time just pops it on his boot. A little chip kick, one-handed mark by Warple, not paid. He'll be tackled here. And the umpire will pay a free kick Hawthorn's way. Let's head down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Luke Bruce about to come on. The paperwork has gone in. Jack Gunston, I think, is going to be subbed out.
Thank you to Ian Cohen in the middle of the ground. Jarman empty for the Hawks. Out to D'Ambrosio. He turns and comes inboard and Jai Newcomb marks. Hand pass to Day. Feigns the hand pass, trying to find a way around Jack Graham. Hand pass to Weddle at centre half forward from 52. Sends a high ball towards Scholl and Watson. It clears the two. Watson's onto it on his left. This time he's putting it through. After 3 behinds previously. Nick Watson with a crumbing goal for his first of the match. And the Hawks answer immediately back. It's a 20-point lead Hawthorn's way. 8-7-55 to the Tigers. 5-5-35. Nathan Burke far more conventional with the shot at ground level rather than the set shot.
Yeah, he certainly attacks the contest, which is what I like. He does what a small player should do. He gets to where the ball's going to land. On that occasion, he actually went up and almost spoiled the ball. I think it was a free kick to Chol if he hadn't have actually got the ball in the first place for being pushed out of the contest. But he puts the fingers up to the lips and says, all you Tiger people, be quiet. Maybe kick a few more goals before you do that, young fella.
Would you be rolling with that after you kicked 3 behinds before that?
No, not at all. It's one that I never pulled out. I just don't know. It's always going to come back and bite you in the backside, that one.
So from the middle, Martin tries to get the kick away. Can't put boot to ball and he'll be pinned for it. So one going against Martin in his 300th game. And Nash takes the free kick for the Hawks. Chips down to Newcomb. Still inside the centre of the MCG. Flat kick inside 50. Doesn't favour his teammates. McDonald will have to chase after it. Bruce is here though after coming onto the field as the sub. Moves his way through it. Snaps to goal. And it hits the post. So he nearly got one after being on the ground for a minute or so. But just a minor score for the Hawks. Lead now 22 points for Hawthorn. Nearly 10 minutes played in the third.
Interesting to see whether Jack Gunston was injured. He only had that one possession in the first half and a bit. Already Luke Brewster's come on and had more.
Yeah, 32 years of age, Jack Gunston. Luke Brewster, 33. Shea Bolton, centre wing. Half pass to Dustin Martin. Drives it inside 50. Kaczynski works his way to the front and takes the mark in Scrimshaw. Quick transition from the Tigers inside forward 50. Jacob Kaczynski able to hang on to a good mark.
Well, that's Dusty's first possession for this half as well. Takes him up to 9. And I think that's what Richmond supporters want to see from Kaczynski. He's a mobile big fella, so use your mobility. He led. It wasn't a great kick by Dusty, but it was out in front of him and he put in the big hard yards to get there. Now needs to finish off to keep themselves within touch.
Looking to continue the Tigers' charge as Jacob Kaczynski kicking for his second. He misses to the left-hand side. A minor score on the Hawks lead by 20 points at the 10-minute mark of the third term on ABC Sport.
Waste. Absolute waste. 20 metres out, dead in front. You're a full forward. You can't afford to miss those.
Sicily wasted no time getting it out of defence to Lloyd Meek, who's marked at left half-back. A bit slow in deciding what he chooses to do, and in the end it's a chip kick forward towards McDonald. So just gains a little bit of distance for the Hawks, and then McDonald will give this all up by going backwards into defence to Hardwick. But they'll switch the footy by doing this and get it to the outer, or to the other side, to the broadcast side, to Amon, who'll chip it forward to Scrimshaw. Mark's right in front of the Richmond benches and chips it to Weddle. So Weddle will now hold on to the footy. Coming up to his 17th touch for the afternoon, he'll go all the way backwards to Frost. And Frost will switch it back to the warning wing, I think we're calling it now. The outer side of the ground, Hardwick. Kicks to D'Ambrosio, who can mark centre wing. And will kick further down the field to McDonald. So McDonald now holding on to the footy at left half forward for the Hawks. Will chip it to Newcomb. So kick mark approach from the Hawks, trying to get it inside 50 and find a goal any way they can. Newcomb will put it in the Chol direction. He's got front position, can't take the mark. Taranto will pick it up. Hand pass to Kazitsky, who will hand pass to Rioli. Will exit defensive 50 for the Tigers. In the Campbell direction, mark won't be able to be taken. And Sicily happy to just follow that ball over the line for a throw-in on the outer side of the wing.
And that's where Marbell Chol needs to improve. It was a good lead and it was a great kick, but he just sort of lumbered out. There was no real sort of oomph in actually leaping at the footy and clutching it in his two hands. It gave his opponent the opportunity to spoil it from behind, and a little bit more effort there from Big Marbell.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Ralph Smith couldn't get a disposal away, stripped of it, and the Hawks take it back. Meek with a hand pass to Amon, kicks into the pocket looking for Ginneman, touched off the boot. Brown, hand pass to Forster, spinning out of traffic, hand pass out in front of Dan Rioli. He slides in, Carl Amon over the top, and they lock it up just 45 metres out from the Hawthorn goal. The Hawks 8-8-56 to the Tigers 5-6-36. The Hawks have really controlled the proceedings since the opening stages of the match, in which Dustin Martin kicked the first goal of the match in game 300. Ginneman tried to break away, tackled, dispossessed, no whistle, spills out to D'Ambrosio from the left forward pocket. He blazes away and misses, just a minor score to the left. Hawthorn by 21 points. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
In answer to Nathan Burke's question, Jack Gunston hasn't attracted any physio or doctor, so no medical attention. And Sam Mitchell's made his way down to coach on the bench. For Adam Uza, it would be the biggest crowd he's coached in front of as well.
So both coaches down on the bench then for the match at the G today as Vlosten kicks outside of defensive 50. Sicily picks it off easily. And he'll hold on to the mark. He'll be pinned, though, for this one.
Holding free kick to Tommy Lynch.
So held Tom Lynch out of the contest, and Lynch will have the footy. He's at half back, though, the Richmond forward in his return game since round 4. Long kick down the line. It lands on Seth Campbell's head. He tries to get the kick away, goes into the back of Cumberland. His teammate plays around the footy, close to the boundary line at half forward for the Tigers. And it's where we'll have a throw-in.
Not sure whether Seth Campbell thought he marked that ball or not, but I thought he marked it from here, but he played on pretty quickly.
It did look like he juggled it twice and then took the mark. Maybe didn't hear the whistle, but played on, and the ball will be stopped and thrown in right in front of the sign that reads Shane Warne stand. It will come out in the way of the Hawks. Nash can hand pass to Moore. Hand passes it to D'Ambrosio. Takes the bounce. Left half forward. There's Chol. Holds on to the mark. Just spills it at the very last second in the end. Ginnivan can pick it up. He tries to kick it, but it's smothered over the line and half forward for the Hawks this time. And that's where we'll have a throw-in. It's Hawthorn ahead by 21 points, nearing the halfway mark of the third term.
Matt Lynch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Nathan Burke in the expert's chair. Ian Cohen down the boundary. Thrown in. Meek wins down the tap. Straight to Warple. Drives a kick inside 50. Bruce got rid of his opponent Brown and then dropped the mark. Brown slides in for Richmond. Not out of jail yet. Hand pass to Vlosten. Bruce back onto it. Stripped in a tackle by Short. Spills to Chol. Kicks over his shoulder and misses to the right-hand side. They've left a few out there, the Hawks now. All of a sudden, 8 goals, 10-58. To the Tigers 5-6-36. 15 minutes gone. Third term on ABC Sport.
Yeah, they're starting to pepper away now, the Hawks. Just goes to show that kick by Kazitsky down the other end. They're not going to get a lot of looks. I think the Hawks are going to win the inside 50 count. So they need to make every opportunity that they can count. And missing from 20 out dead in front is going to be costly.
So Hawthorn ahead by 22 points. Gunning for their 4th win in a row. Richmond slow out of defence. Short holding the ball at the top of the 50. Told by the umpire to play on. So we'll just launch the ball down the outer wing and hope for a mark. Lynch goes up. Can't take the mark. Falls to ground. It'll be a hand pass away from Frost that heads towards the boundary line. Another throw in at centre wing.
I think Frosty thought the Richmond player running past was a Hawthorn player and luckily missed him and the ball went out of bounds.
So with the floodlights in full force at the MCG, the umpire will throw the ball in. Meek gets a long tap away just into some space close to the boundary line. It's short this time. We'll take it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Bit of a nil-all draw between Meek and Nankervis at this point. Meek's had more of the footy. He's had 9 and Nankervis has had 5, but neither of them having a really big influence.
Meek and Kazitsky this time in the ruck, and Kazitsky pushes it down. It's straight into the path of Newcomb, though. Long ball inside 50 from Newcomb. Mark can't be taken by Deer. Comes down to Miller. He tries to get a kick away. He's tackled. This should be a free, and it is. Miller was tackled in a double team by Deer and Chol, and Hawthorn will have a set shot at goal here, and it'll be in the hands of Mabior Chol.
Yeah, it just didn't realise he was under pressure. I was looking downfield for a perfect pass, and nothing eventuated. Took 1 or 2 steps too many, and great rundown by the big fella. He's got to understand that he's really athletic, and for him to kick goals, he can mark the ball, get it on the ground, and lay tackles.
So Chol will kick from 45 metres out, 45-degree angle. A goal in the first, a goal in the second, and a goal in the third to go with it. Chol has 3 for the twilight match, and Hawthorn's lead pushes out to 28 points. The Hawks 9-10-64, leading Richmond 5-6-36. Saturday Arvo footy on ABC Sport. Your expert Nathan Burke.
He's the only man to kick more than 1 goal. He's got 3. Everyone else has got 1. So definitely the best forward on the ground so far. He's only had the 4 kicks, but he's kicked 3 goals, 1 which is highly efficient. But when you've got a guy with his ability, now he's going to go into the centre bounce and play in the ruck. Just such a versatile asset to have, someone who can kick goals, pinch hit in the ruck. He's useful around the ground as well because he's so agile and he can get to the contest as well. And if they can get some consistency out of him, which is what he's lacked in his career so far, he'll be a great pickup.
Out to their biggest lead of the match as Hawthorn get the clearance up towards Will Day. Can't take the mark. Taranto back looking for Dan Rioli. McKenzie pinches it, but he's dragged down. Great lunging effort by Tim Taranto, who is displaying the Tiger qualities this afternoon. 24 disposals, 7 clearances, and a 4th tackle, which was rewarded with holding the ball. He's the leading disposal getter on the ground in front of Short with 22 and Newcomb with 20. Let's go Short to Noah Bolter in the left back pocket. He waits for options to open up, and Jack Graham takes the mark. Still inside the defensive 50. Works it out to Miller. Then Miller marks it right half back. Turns and chips it back inboard to Noah Bolter. So a kick mark game for the moment for the Tigers as he looks up to the Warney wing. Finds Dow. Gets the hand pass away to Graham. The overlap run now up towards Cumberland, who flies. Can't take the mark over the top of Mansell. Carl Amon was tackled. Lost it. It spills out the way of Mansell. Short kick to Bolton. Was that 15? He plays on. Kicks around Weddle and turns it over as Frost takes the mark. In front of Kazitsky. Careful not to give away 50. Although the kick is a shocker. Frosty's turned it over. And Broad takes the mark out to the right. It's probably just beyond his limit at 52, 53 metres out. Hard out to the right.
And Frosty's sort of been limiting the amount of Frosty things that he's been doing this season, but fell back into old ways then.
Broad had a look into the corridor. Nothing really on offer. So kicks to the pocket looking for Toby Nankervis. And the Richmond captain rises and takes the mark deep in the right forward pocket. And plenty of encouragement from Cumberland and Bolton, having taken the mark over the top of Connor Nash.
Yeah, the big fella led into the pocket. I don't always love those kicks into the pocket, but he made it good by taking a really strong contested mark. Now he's got a snap on his left.
Hasn't kicked a goal this season. How the Tigers would love one now. He opens up the angle, snaps across his body and misses to the right-hand side. A 27-point lead, Hawthorn's way. 20 minutes gone, 3rd quarter on ABC Sport.
Amon again with the kick in for Hawthorn. It's a flat kick outside of defence. The mark is just taken by D'Ambrosio. A little bit dangerous. But D'Ambrosio mark left half back. Puts his hands up. Not happy with anywhere to go when he goes back to Sicily, who juggles the mark in defence. Plays on. He's under pressure. And then he'll get the kick away, though. Back out to the southern wing to Ginnivan. Marks and looks ahead to see what's ahead of him. And he'll just kick to centre half forward for the Hawthorn. Moore's there, can't take the mark. Deere was there, taps it down to Moore, picks it up, hand passes it across to Bruce. He might go for goal, he won't, he'll find Chol, and why not? Chol sits back there, holds on to a chest mark, and he'll kick from about 8 metres out from goals on a 45-degree angle.
Great running by Marbiel Chol. He was the long kick down the line from Ginnivan. He had the ball over right on the boundary line, but instead of Ginnivan kicking the ball long down the line, he brought the ball into the corridor. It was a risky kick, but Chol is a snap.
Chol a snap away from his 4th goal. 4th from Chol, and he celebrates with Jack. And all his other teammates that come around him to high-five him as he makes his way to the bench now for a well-earned rest, you'd think. The forward Hawthorn needs, and they move to 10 goals for the afternoon. 10-7-70, Richmond 5-7-37. That margin now out to 33 points to Hawthorn's advantage.
Yeah, I'll just finish that one off because Ginnivan right in front of that warning wing out on the boundary line. Chol was a long kick down the line. The kick came into the centre corridor. Instead of Chol just spectating and saying, oh, you didn't kick it to me, you kicked it into the corridor, he actually started running all the way back to the goal square, and his Richmond defenders got caught ball watching the ball through the corridor, and in the end there was an easy mark, top of the goal square, all by himself. But great awareness to understand that I can't be involved in that contest, but if we win it, I can be involved in the next one, and he got the reward for effort.
6 goals from the defensive half of the Hawks this afternoon. And Marbiel Chol up to 4 goals for the match, as it's out to 33 points. Warple gets the clearance of Hawthorn, kicks inside 50. Watson leaning back, can't complete the mark. Bruce with a hand pass to Deere, swings on his left-hand side towards the goal. He steers it through. They can't be stopped. The Hawks opening up a significant gap with 4 goals to 1 in this 3rd quarter, and it's out by 39 points. 11-10-76 to the Tigers, 5-7-37. 23 minutes gone, 3rd quarter, and a centre bounce clearance once more for the Hawks that results in a goal.
Yeah, clearances are 9-3 this quarter in favour of the Hawks. They're getting the ball going their way, and with a 6-6-6, if you win that centre clearance, that's when they look really, really dangerous. And the Hawthorn defenders, if they can't get extra numbers back, they're not great one-on-one defenders. You look at, Vlosten's had a stack of the footy, Broad's had a stack of the footy, Short's had the second most possessions, he's had 9 this quarter. They're great at getting the ball when their team's got it, but actually defending, they're not the world's greatest.
So the ball tossed up in the middle. Meek and Nankervis trying to bring it down. And it'll be more at the bottom of the pack for another throw-in. Let's head down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, just having a look at Shea Bolton for the Tigers. He came hobbling off, so the sub is McAuliffe. He's been up and about. That might be action shortly.
Thanks, Koza. Keep us updated as the ball's kicked into Richmond's attacking 50, but Sicily takes the intercept mark and puts the ball out to in front of our broadcast position where Moore takes a chest mark for the Hawks.
He's a small forward who can come up into the middle of the ground and be really useful and pinch hit for periods of time.
Moore gets it across to Amon, who'll run. Kick inside 50, 40 metres out for the Hawks. Deers around there, making a contest of it on hands and knees. Pushes it away to Day. Through his legs, players around the footy, trying to lock it up in the Hawks' attack. And that's what they'll do. And it'll mean we'll have a ball up 20 metres out from Hawthorn's goal. It's Nick Watson being pulled up from the bottom of the pack, and it's Hawthorn leading by 39 points. It's tapped away towards Ginnivan, close to goals. He tries to have a ping at the sticks by soccering it off the ground, but it's out of bounds on the full for Ginnivan. So no change to that score. Hawthorn, the game-high 39-point lead, 25 minutes gone in the 3rd term.
So the ball was still on the field, and it was kicked through for the Hawks, but the long kick out of defence up towards Tom Lynch, who spoils it down from the Graham kick, and then Cumberland's tackled by Jaff, and the umpire will ball it up in front of the members stand here at the MCG. Hawthorn by 39 points, 11-10-76 to the Tigers 5-7-37. It'll be the biggest attendance between these sides, but a lot have come for the Dustin Martin show. Nankervis kicks up into the middle of the ground. Tough one for Mansell, couldn't mark. Hand pass to Songs, he kicks out towards Ralph Smith. He marks it right half forward, wants to play on, waits for Dan Rioli to float behind him, receives the hand pass out wide for Tom Lynch, and he takes the mark just inside the field of play. Out wide, stretching Sam Frost as wide as he could. Tom Lynch, who hasn't had a lot of the footy on his return, following 10 weeks out from the senior side. Possession number 4 coming up, and a chance for his first goal.
He did well then, Tom Lynch, because I thought Ralph Smith could have actually kicked the ball to him over the top, but when Ralph Smith decided to handball off, Lynch just didn't stop. He kept leading and went again and provided a second option.
A hamstring injury in their win over Sydney back in round 3 as he adjusts the chairs up against the fence. And Tom Lynch hard against the boundary in the right forward pocket. It's across the face of goal. McIntosh flies and off hands. It's seen through by Blake Hardwick for a minor score. Hawthorn by 38 points. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, the paperwork remains unchecked at the moment. Shea Bolton's back on.
Thanks, Coes up. Long kick. The outside of defence. We'll go to a contest. Newcomb can pick it up. Hand pass to Meek, who hand passes it across to Bruce. Hand passes it to Watson, can get it backwards to D'Ambrosio. Kicks towards half forward, close to the boundary line, and it'll go out. Touched over the line for a throw-in. But the Hawks have worked it to half forward.
Yeah, just finding it easier and easier to get the ball from deep inside their defensive 50 into their attacking half.
Move the ball quickly to within a couple of kicks of goals. As the umpire will throw it in, Nankervis and Meek. Back in the ruck, Nankervis taps it away to Graham. He's taken by 2 Hawks. The moment he grabs the ball, and we'll have a throw up 55 metres out from Hawthorn's goal. Comfortable 38-point lead at the moment, heading into the three-quarter time break. As Walpole gets the footy, dabs a kick inside 50, and it'll be a mark for the Hawks. McKenzie takes it on his chest, and the Hawks will have another shot at goals very late in the third term.
McKenzie just coming up for possession at number 10. So he's lively when he gets it. What I like about him is he actually gets the ball going forward. He gets the ball, he runs with it, takes it forward. He makes something happen. So hasn't had a big day possession-wise, but certainly he's one for the future for the Hawks.
So Cam McKenzie out of Bo Morris has a shot from 35 out, and it sails through the middle. The Hawks get a late one in the third quarter just to push that lead out even a little bit further than it already is. It's now a 44-point advantage the way of the Hawks. 12-10-82 leading Richmond 5-8-38.
And that came from a clearance, and it was a really good clearance by the Hawks because they're really well structured around those clearances. There was a player in tight, winning the football, a quick handball out to Warple, and Warple was smart. He could have just, under a little bit of pressure, gone, you know what, I'll get at the top of the goal square and hope we take a mark, but he didn't. He lowered his eyes, saw McKenzie standing in front of his opponent and hit him right on the chest. So all-round great play by the Hawks.
That's 8 of the last 10 goals the way of the Hawks. They kicked 5 goals to 1 in this third quarter, including the last 4. It is sliding out of control. Shea Bolton into the centre square, gets the clearance of the Tigers, kicks a high ball towards Tom Lynch and Kazitsky. Sicily in front, crashes the pack. Kazitsky, it spills out to Massimo D'Ambrosio. Hand pass to Wimpy. He's kicked for the Hawks only as far as Cumberland. His high kick is not before the siren sounds for three-quarter time.
A blue between Lynch and Frost.
There he is as Connor Nash comes charging in, a few other players as well. Blake Hardwick comes in, bounces into Mansell. And James Sicily involved as well. So the siren has sounded, and this will continue on for a little bit with the umpires really powerless to do anything at the moment other than encourage them to head to their respective huddles. And Tom Lynch having a word or two to James Sicily. His jumper having been just reached up to his midriff. And Sam Frost is still in conversation with Jaden Short, and eventually now all are seeing the lighter side of it as they separate and head to their respective huddles. Although McIntosh, just a little shove on James Sicily, so Tom Lynch has turned around and wants to say a word or two more. So he's not all that impressed, no doubt, by the attention from Sam Frost, and the runners have come in to try and help separate them. All happening at the three-quarter time siren. Anamuse would hope a bit more might be able to happen on the scoreboard because it's Hawthorn who lead by 44 points. 12-10-82 to the Tigers 5-8-38. In that term, Hawthorn booted 5 goals to 1, including the last 4 goals of the quarter. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, it was Tom Lynch that got up and wanted to have a Furman Frank exchange with Sam Frost, who he believed crashed into him in that pack. There was 3 or 4 of them in that marking pack, and the 2 of them were last to get up, and Lynch was certainly unhappy with the treatment from Frost.
Thank you very much, Koza. 3/4 time at the MCG. Hawthorn by 44 points. 12-10-82 to the Tigers 5-8-38. It's all been Hawthorn since Dustin Martin kicked the opening goal of the match. The Hawks led by 12 points at quarter time. They led by 19 points at half time and currently hold a 44-point advantage at 3/4 time. The goal kickers for the Hawks, 4 goals to Chol, 2 goals to Kalshadir, individuals to Watson, Moore, Ginnivan, Connor McDonald, McKenzie and Newcomb. While for the Tigers, their goals have come through individual goal kickers Bolton, Kazitsky, Campbell, Martin and Taranto. 3/4 time at the MCG, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Looking for an easy way to find out what's happening in the world of sport? Stay up to date with the week's best sports stories, highlights and analysis with the ABC Sport newsletter.
Oh, that is amazing!
It's sports content to make you think or allow you not to. Delivered to your inbox every Saturday.
Game, set, bingo!
To sign up and get the latest sports news each week, head to abc.net.au/connect, scroll down and select ABC Sport. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Kazitsky drives it long in the direction of Tom Lynch, wrestling in the goal square, clears Weddle and Frost. Lynch thought he was held. The umpire agrees, advantage is taken, and Campbell from millimetres out puts it through for the first goal of the 3rd quarter. Jack Graham out past to Weddle at centre half forward from 52, sends a high ball towards Scholl and Watson. It clears the 2. Watson's onto it on his left. This time he's putting it through.
Long ball inside 50 from Newcomb. Mark can't be taken by Deer. Comes down to Miller. He tries to get a kick away. He's tackled. This should be a free, and it is. Miller was tackled in a double team by Deer and Chol. Chol will kick from 45 metres out. 45-degree angle. A goal in the first. A goal in the second. And a goal in the third to go with it. Deer was there, taps it down to Moore, picks it up, hand passes it across to Bruce. He might go for goal, he won't, he'll find Chol, and why not? Fourth from Chol, and he celebrates with Jack. Deer was there, taps it down to Moore, picks it up, hand passes it across to Bruce. He might go for goal, he won't, he'll find Chol, and why not? Fourth from Chol, and he celebrates with Jack.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Kazitsky drives it long in the direction of Tom Lynch, wrestling in the goal square. It's Dustin Martin's 300th match, but it's the Hawks who are looking to spoil the party. They lead by 44 points at 3/4 time. 12-10-82 to the Tigers, 5-8-38. Macklich and Lauren Borton calling the action, and Cohen down on the boundary. Nathan Burke is your expert. Our next stop is the Adelaide Oval as the Crows take on the Sydney Swans. And heading up our broadcast, a very good evening to Aaron Bryans.
Good evening, Clinchy. I reckon you'd understand this better than most people around the country after your time in the great state of South Australia, but I couldn't imagine a more stress-inducing task than having to play the ladder-leading Swans when your entire supporter base is banging at the club gates demanding a response. But that is the reality that the Adelaide Crows face tonight. Sydney look absolutely unstoppable. They're in the midst of an 8-game winning streak, and they had a 6-goal head start against the Cats last week, and even then Geelong couldn't stop them. Adelaide, meanwhile, buoyed by the returns of stars in Isaac Rankin and Nick Murray, but they're riding this mathematical chance that maybe finals is still an option, but they definitely need a dramatic lift to pull off a major upset tonight. It feels like it's all or nothing with their backs against the wall against the benchmark in the competition in the Sydney Swans. We'll have Premiership Crows, Rod Jamieson and Troy Bond with me for the call. Neil Cross as well in the box and Liz Walsh downstairs. And it's no late changes, so the subs for the Crows, Sam Berry, Matty Roberts for the Swans. It does feel like a little one-sided on paper, but this is the kind of game that Adelaide can tend to turn up for and show some intensity. So the Swans and the Crows coming your way next on ABC Sport.
Thanks, Ads. Look forward to joining you at the conclusion of our game. So Isaac Rankin returns, but no Tex Walker. And yes, Adelaide just needs something for their members to try and keep the Wolves at bay. Hawthorn leading by 44 points. Nathan Burke.
Yeah, outstanding play there by the Hawks in that quarter. It was the premiership quarter. They needed to exert their dominance, and that's what they did. They really dominated all over the ground. And D'Ambrosio had 10 possessions in that quarter was outstanding. Newcombe had 8. Taranto's pretty much a lone hand for the Tigers. He's up to 26 possessions, and the next best is short on 22. So Tigers need to find some avenues to goal. They haven't got any so far. Need to find some.
Final term underway. Hawthorn by 44 points, and it's Will Day who emerges with the footy. The young star for the brown and the gold. Inside 50. Big smother from Noah Bolter sliding in from the side. Leaves Bruce a little worse aware as he slowly gets to his feet. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, it looks like Richmond have swung the changes too. Kane McAuliffe gets his opportunity, and it's Noah Cumberland that's come off, and just he's being assessed at the moment by Medical.
Just 4 possessions for Cumberland.
Thanks, Goza. 44 points. The Hawthorn lead is from the throw-in. Thompson Dow drives a kick into the middle of the ground. It's over the head of Campbell and Jarman Impey. Impey receives the hand pass, though, for Hardwick. Kicks Hawthorn inside 50. Out of the long lead. Kalshadir can't take the mark. Miller makes the spoil. Vlosten lays the tackle. And the ball stayed in play for a few moments, as it's eventually Dan Rioli who swoops onto it with the support of Miller. Hand pass to Short and back to Rioli. He links up with Dow, who swings back onto his left and drives a long kick up to the Shane Warne stand wing. It's over the head of Swansea. Jaff tries to trap it to his own advantage. Sisley gathers back to Jaff, happy to step it over the line. And a boundary throw in centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side. Hawthorn by 44 points. 90 seconds gone. Final term on ABC Sport.
Just Dusty with the 1 possession in that third quarter, so he's up to 9 for the game.
The run here for Dustin Martin's 300th. Only 2 players in VFL AFL history called Dustin. They got 700 games between them, so not a bad effort. If you want your kid to go on for a long AFL career, maybe call them Dustin. But it's Day from the stoppage who takes the footy, runs down the southern wing of the MCG, tries to kick inside 50, but it's Miller who chops that off before it goes any further. Marks at the top of the 50. Miller telling his teammates to run onto the Shane Warne wing side of the ground. He goes up in the direction of Seth Campbell. Couldn't take the mark. Sonsie was there. Hawks players want deliberate, and the umpire will pay it deliberate. So, a little unlucky.
If you kick the ball along the ground these days and it rolls out of bounds, it's always considered deliberate.
It'll be Chol who gets it and kicks it backwards to Hardwick. Chips forward towards Moore. He's got it just backwards of centre wing for the Hawks. Holding on to a handy lead early stages of the 4th term. He'll kick out to Impey. Close to the boundary line, chips it back inboard towards Eamon. Still in the defensive half of the ground, the Hawks. Trying to move it forward, and it'll be a kick switching it across the ground to Frost. Hand passes it to Weddle. He goes for a bit of a run, then kicks down to D'Ambrosio. Good mark from D'Ambrosio, and now the Hawks can go if they want to. D'Ambrosio down to left half forward. It doesn't quite reach his teammate there in Moore, rather it was, but will make its way towards or over the boundary line. So still getting the distance for the Hawks. So throw in, 44 points Hawthorn's lead in the early moments of the 4th quarter.
Sort of tapping over the boundary line under the pressure of Broad, but the Richmond fans aren't rewarded with a deliberate out of play. Thrown back in. Meek wins down the tap to the front. Tough one for Dan Rioli. Lost his footing. Ball pinballs around. Taranto's hand pass straight to Moore. Kicks towards the goal square. Deer can't take the mark. Miller under pressure as Deer lays the tackle. Spills back to Dan Rioli. Kicks a high ball. Just getting it out of there as D'Ambrosio's underneath it, and Day as well. Spills to Nash. He kicks towards the goal mouth. But Dan Rioli was well set. He marks up against the right behind post, deep in the right back pocket for the Tigers. Hawthorn by 44 points.
Rioli chip kick forward towards Broad. Right back pocket. He wants to go quickly, and he kicks towards Vlosten. Top of the defensive 50 for Richmond. He'll kick to the back edge of the centre square. Here's the sub. Kane McAuliffe can take the mark and flare it out wide towards the southern wing of the MCG. Sonsie will mark. Move the ball on quickly to Seth Campbell. They've strung the play together here, Richmond. Seth Campbell will put it inside 50 to see if a mark can finish it off. It goes over the top of players' heads. And it might be a free kick towards Baker. It is. The Richmond vice-captain will get a free kick. Sicily puts his arms up to say why.
Well, the umpire that was 10 metres away didn't see anything. The one who was 20 metres behind him in a straight line did see something. So I'll wait to see what the replay says.
Well, Liam Baker, though, 45-degree angle, about 30 metres out to kick for his first goal of the day. Impressed last week in the win against Adelaide. Launches the ball towards goal, but it's just narrow, and it'll be a minor score for the Tigers. That lead now 43 points, Hawthorn holding it after 5 minutes gone in the fourth term.
Again, that's the sort of goal that they need to kick. If they're going to get themselves back into this game, it's the best chance either team has had so far this quarter. And a guy like Liam Baker, 30 metres out on a slight angle, has to put that through. We just allow players, I think we've got a blood rule here, which is taking a bit of time, but we allow players off far too easily, missing those sorts of goals. These are professional footballers. We need to start holding them accountable.
Nathan Burke alongside Matt Clench, Lauren Borden calling the action, and Ian Cohen as Scrimshaw out towards Jarman Impey at right half back. It's up towards Blake Cardwick, but Campbell's able to spoil it out of play for the Tigers. Centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. We love hearing from you. Danny says, loving the call while I'm enjoying a nice drop of red as I'm cooking up a storm Scotch fillet with a side of leftover sausages cooked in a thick gravy. Oh, sounds all pretty good, to be honest.
Where's he calling from?
Yeah, what time do you want us?
Drop it on the way home.
Molly from Cairns says, if we're behind, then never mind. We'll fight and win. I like it, Molly. Keep fighting. And Bill says, Shea Bolton seems to have lost his influence. 0437 774 774 is the SMS line as the ball is spoiled and out of play by Toby Nankervis. Gained 15 metres as he thumped it forward, but straight over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Shea Bolton, 14 possessions. He's going at 50% efficiency and kicked the 1-goal-1. So not what we expect from a player of his class.
And had a bit of medical attention, like Koza said as well. But it's thrown back in, and Sicily clear and kick long down the wing. Will head to a one-on-one. Neither Chol nor Bolter could win out ball. Very close to the boundary line. Players desperate to keep it in. It's just inches away from going out. Chol can steal it back. Hand pass to Jaff, who'll put a high ball inside 50 here for Hawthorn. Ginnivan ended up with back position, and it'll be a mark taken by Richmond. So Brown with the kick goes towards the goal square. He was looking towards Short. And luckily Short got the free kick for high against McDonald. And Short can kick it across to Miller in the right back pocket.
I like the way Tom Brown plays. I think he's going to be a good defender for many years for the Tigers.
Kicks up to Dow, who's able to take the mark despite the late body contact from Connor Nash, and moves it further up the field on the members' side to Nathan Broad. Hawthorn 12-10-82, leading the Tigers 5-9-39. Final term on ABC Sport. Not the best kick by Broad, but got to the target as he finds Taranto centre wing. Tim Taranto, possession number 30 coming up. As he goes short to Broad once more. So just trying to find some overlap run for the Tigers as Nick Vlostone has just come on from the bench. Spots him and chips between wing and half forward. He now drives it up towards Tom Lynch. Sicily sets himself in front through the Hawks defender's hands, and he lays the tackle on Tom Lynch. Not sure he got a disposal away. Play on is the call. Weddle with a clearing kick for the Hawks straight up to Broad. He takes the mark, the Tigers defender between wing and half forward.
Shrugs off Ginnivan and kicks towards Tom Brown. Half forward for the Tigers, chips it forward. Graham can't mark, and then it's McCall who has to chase after it. Hand pass it back to Brown, who hand passes it to Martin. Tackled away, basically throws it away to Graham. He did in the end, and the umpire will penalise Dustin Martin for it. So, had an arm being held in the tackle, had to throw it away, and Jarman Impey to get the free kick at half-back for the Hawks.
Of all the wonderful games Dusty's played on this oval in his career, this isn't one of them, unfortunately.
Not quite. And a lot of the crowd here, the majority of it here to see him, as Ginnivan at centre wing kicks the ball down inside 50. McDonald runs onto it. It's Moore who picks it up, though. Just weaves his way through traffic, then spots up the kick. And it's a good-looking kick towards Bruce.
And unfortunately, that's modern defending for you. They all anticipated that Moore would just throw it on his boot, get to the top of the goal square, and they all thought, I'm going to get a touch here, but Moore's too smart, and Bruce is too smart running into a hole.
Bruce to come in here and make an impact as the sub. He starts it right, he brings it back, he slots it through. A goal for Bruce in the last term. And Hawthorn's lead out to 49 points. They kick the first goal of the fourth term. It's Hawthorn 13-10-88. Richmond 5-9-39. Nearly 10 minutes played in the fourth quarter on ABC Sport.
what's that, the 6th time he's been sub in a row?
Yep.
I'd love to honestly chat with him and say, are you happy with that, mate? You're getting game, your team's winning, you're coming on, having a bit of an influence, you're not getting tired, you're not getting busted up. How are you feeling about that? Or are you a competitor, a footballer who says, I just want to get out there and play, this is killing me, sitting on the bench. And either way, he's doing a good job when he comes on, but I wonder whether he's battling some demons about being a competitor footballer who just wants to be out there right from the start.
I would imagine the answer is I want to be out there as much as I can, but when the team's winning, you just want to be a part of it. As Shea Bolton gets the clearance for the Tigers, back towards Kosicki. Might have been taken high, no whistle. Ralph Smith knocks it on, but it's Newcombe who gathers to the Hawks. Takes a bounce, time for more Payne. Hand pass forward to McDonald, and left half forward, inside 50, Watson on the lead. And he jumps up and hugs the chest mark to his right-hand side. He's hard against the boundary. A chance to go back and kick his second, having kicked 1-3.
And straight away he told all his Hawthorn teammates, don't bother leading, get out of the way, don't, just stand still, save your legs, I'm having a shot. So he pointed at the goals, he pointed at them to stand still. He's at least he knows what he wants to do.
He gave the shush to the Richmond fans on the previous goal. This is off the fat part of the footy, straight across the face of goal. And Kosicki rushes it through for a minor score for the Hawks. So a 50-point lead as we tick past 11 minutes gone in the final term. Just the one goal having come so far. Here's Lauren Borden.
So it'll be brought in by Broad, chips towards Vlosten. He'll kick it to Miller. 30 metres out from defensive goal, the Tigers. They spent a fair bit of time chipping it around defence as he kicks it out to the top of the 50 to Graham, who'll mark. And Graham can hand pass away to a running Brown, picks it up cleanly, and he'll kick it all the way to left half forward for the Tigers, mark taken by Seth Campbell. So a couple of the young emerging stars in Richmond's lineup playing a part here to get the ball to Baker, who can have a set shot at goal from 40 metres out.
Yeah, footy's not hard when you actually lead at the player with the ball, because all of the defenders were thinking that's going to go long. And every single Richmond player, except for Baker, was thinking, I'm just going to run straight back to the goal square and get on the end of it. But Baker ran at the bloke with the footy and took an easy chest mark, gets himself a shot.
So Liam Baker, big kick towards goals, and again it's just offline to the left-hand side, same as his set shot a little earlier on in the game. So Hawthorn's lead cut back just slightly to 49 points.
Yeah, 5 goals, 10 now from the Tigers. It's not great kicking. Only had 15 shots at goal, so they've got to make the most of them when they can. And Liam Baker's normally a great set shot for goal. We've seen him go forward and kick goals, but not today.
James Sicily brings the Hawks back into play as Watson trying to get up early on the back of Jaden Short. It's Ginnivan who kicks towards half forward. Nobody's in the vicinity. This will be insufficient intent. And the free kick will go the way of the Tigers, which is basically the last touch when you're kicking towards half forward if there's nobody in the area. Even then, it's probably, if it goes out of play, a free kick against. As Volstone goes short, Jack Graham marks. Hawthorn by 49 points. Tigers head to the bye next week. Well, the Hawks, they also have the bye as well. But all of a sudden, Hawthorn will have squared the leisure at 7 wins and 7 losses. A chance for Miller. The Tigers defender drives a long kick from the middle of the ground in towards Mansell. He's outmanoeuvred and James Sicily takes the mark. The Hawthorn captain down low to his right. Hawthorn by 49 points as Sicily kicks up the wing. The intercepting mark taken by his opposing defender in Miller, centre wing.
Miller holding onto the footy and looking at what's ahead of him inside that attacking 50. Just chooses to go along to a pack and see what can come from it. Falls to ground. Campbell chasing after it. Hard against the boundary. Ends up spilling the footy, falling over, and drops the ball over the boundary line. So we'll have a throw in as we head down to Ian Kozer on the boundary.
Just been watching Watson move around the place. Today he's been a bit more muggle than wizard, but I don't know whether Berkey, someone at the club, says, listen, just get your possessions, don't worry about the crowd, don't worry about flying high, kick the goals.
Yeah, it's been a little bit too much today. I like blokes having enthusiasm, but it's been just a little bit too much. He's doing stuff that a small player shouldn't do, and I'm not sure whether Sam Mitchell is the type of coach that, he wants them to play with flair and freedom, but not to the detriment of the players. And I don't want you trying to take speckies on your own players on the wing.
So he has kicked 8 goals in the last couple of games in the VFL, so maybe got a little bit of confidence from that Watson. This ball's tossed back in at centre wing. Hawks gaining the clearance via Day. Hand passes it across to Amon. Shovels it to Ginnivan right in the centre of the MCG. Long kick inside 50. It's Bruce at the back there. Nankervis does well, or Bolter does well to stop it from getting to him. Doesn't matter. Bruce can pick it up. Hand pass it to Watson. He's tackled by Vlosten. Was he taken high? He was.
He ward that, umpire.
It'll be another free kick to Watson. The same place where he had that earlier free kick for being taken high after, well, being taken by a taller opponent, really.
Don't reward that, umpire. It's disgraceful. You know, I almost hope he gets his head knocked off because he's going to keep doing it. It's a disgraceful thing to do, just diving into the play with the ball tucked under your arm. It's... umpires have got to be smarter than that, and hopefully they look at it during the week.
So it was Ginnivan first who drew the ire of a lot of supporters, and now it's his teammate in the forward line in Watson. Wins the free kick, snaps towards goal and misses. And you can probably hear the crowd, the Richmond fans. Well, they're happy with that result, but back to 50 points ahead for Hawthorn.
He just dived into the player who was tackling him with the ball under one arm and lifting the elbow. It's a classic one. The umpires are saying, we're not going to pay that. Yeah. And these blokes, they fell for it twice.
He's got 1-4 and one which hasn't scored. So he could have had an absolute day out, but I guarantee you the umpires will be showing vision of what he is doing during the week to try and get those free kicks. There's a downfield free kick against Marbiel Chol for a late bump. And the short pass goes inboard into the middle of the ground for Toby Nankervis. Down past to Miller. Drives a long kick towards Dustin Martin at full forward. Ralph Smith in from the side. Drop the mark. It spills out to D'Ambrosio for Hawthorn. Hand pass to Weddle. Into the back pocket. A hand pass to McDonald. Tight against the boundary. Can't quite get it to Moore. And the mark was taken by Jaden Short. He was dragged down. Thought it could have been 50, the Richmond fans on the members' side. But no free kick or extension coming. He's out to the right. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Heading to the city end in this final term. Jaden Short drives it long. Noel Bolter's deep in attack. He slipped over. He gathers though. Frost lays the tackle. Kick went straight up in the air. Jarman Impey makes the spoil. Spills down. Shea Bolton somehow knocked it out to Nankervis. He can't steer it straight either. This is to the left-hand side and another behind for the Tigers. 5 goals, 11-41 Richmond to Hawthorn 13-12-90. The margin is back to 49 points the Hawks' way.
We've still only got 7 players for the Tigers who have scored a goal or a behind, and I think the Hawks are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Sicily kick down to Reeves. It's Vlosten that can pick it up. Hand pass to Martin. Still gets some cheers in his 300th game. Hand pass to Baker. His kick smothered. Martin goes after it again. He's taken in a tackle by McDonald. And Martin's helped up by Rioli. We'll have a throw up. Half forward for the Tigers. Up it goes. Nankervis palms it down towards Graham. Shoves it on his boot quickly. Inside 50. Up goes Scrimshaw. Easily takes the intercept mark for Hawthorn and can kick out wide towards Sicily. Takes a bounce in defensive 50. Then decides to take a second one. He might even take a third. He does. He can finally get the kick away towards Ginnivan, who'll mark at centre wing.
He takes a bounce as he runs around the boundary line. Gets the right half forward. Marbiel Chol's deepest. He won't get it to him. Bruce in from the side. Can't complete the mark. Is shepherding in the marking contest. And it will go the Tigers' way. And Jacob Kazitsky getting back to help the defence. So they might have swapped he and Bolter. We'll keep an eye on that as Bolter's gone forward. Short to Ralph Smith in the back pocket. Runs the boundary line as Marbiel Chol off his chase. Kicks up towards Noah Bolter. Frost gets rid of him. Centering ball towards Connor McDonald. Good spoil by Jack Graham. Spills out the way of Nash. He's tackled as Bolter and Graham dive on top. And the umpire will ball it up. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Cheerio to Peter, who's enjoying the call from the UK. Go Hawks, and also happy 93rd birthday to Neil, who's listening in from Doncaster. As Mackenzie tries to knock it clear. Ralph Smith and Warple close to the boundary line. And it goes out of play. Mix on the tractor in WA. How many games per weekend with a boundary umpire officiating, please? I think it's just the one, Mick. Chatting to Ian Burrows, who brings up his 400th in this afternoon's match. Dylan and Lauren in Kensington, thanks for the excellent commentary. Sick with the bug, so can't be at the pub watching the game. Have enjoyed listening. Go Hawks.
So brought back in, and here are the Hawks via Impey. Hand passes to Mackenzie. Nearly slips over, then does slip over. Hand pass to Day. tried to get it back to Warple. He's had to go on his hands and knees to shovel it out backwards. Players surrounding the footy. It's Day who can get it out towards Moore. Taking in a tackle. Nash comes in to try and get it away. Spills out the back towards Impey. Spins around in a 360, then hurries a kick to half forward. McDonald has it. Can hand pass it to McKenzie, who'll run inside 50. He'll go for goals himself, McKenzie, and he'll slot it through. McKenzie with his second. And that lead just keeps growing for Hawthorn in this final quarter. It's gone out now to 55 points. 14-12-96. Richmond 5-11-41. The Tigers haven't kicked a goal since the start of the second half. So it's been all Hawthorn since then. Now leading by 55 points. Saturday Arvo footy on ABC Sport.
And that goal really typifies the way that the Hawthorn play. The ball was bouncing around on the ground. It was a real tight contest, and you had Day in there being really clean, and Warple was really clean with the footy, and then Moore came in and he was really clean with the football, and eventually gets to somebody on the outside, and Mackenzie's poised to just run inside 50. He had Chol leading at him really hard, but he thought, no, I can kick this and put it straight through the middle, and it's a great sign of all the young players getting involved in that goal.
You ready for the crowd, Berkey? 92,311. The biggest crowd for these two sides in home and away footy, even surpassing the qualifying final crowd back in 2018. So we know Richmond have over 100,000 members. Some of them might be pets, but they're all in attendance this afternoon for Dustin Martin's 300. It hasn't quite been the afternoon many would have hoped. Thompson down for the Tigers, up towards Noah Bolter, who juggles the mark in the right forward pocket.
Unfortunately, we haven't got the full noise effect of 92,000 here because of Richmond only kicking 5 goals for the game. But thanks for coming anyway. Well done, Tigers fans.
Kicked the last 7 goals, the Hawks. So Noah Bolter out to the right, looking for one against the trend. It's offline out to the left. It won't quite have the journey. McIntosh tries to spoil it down against Jaff, and through for a minor score it goes. So a 55-point lead the Hawks way. 21 minutes gone, final term. Now Jenny from Lockington near Echuca has also sent through her food, which is a poor man's Wellington minute steak. This is making me hungry, Berkey.
I had the party pie for lunch.
Ball comes out at half forward for the Tigers. They'll try and put it inside 50 again here. There'll be a kick from Mansell towards goals, and he's put it through. A late one for the Tigers. We won't hear that full roar. But those still around, as many of them are, back the goal for Mansell. So Richmond's just their 6th goal of this afternoon, and their first since the start of the second half. Richmond 6-12-48, trailing Hawthorn 14-12-96. 48-point margin the way of the Hawks.
Yeah, and their young players who have been fairly good over the last month or so have really struggled today. McCall, if he came off the sub, he was a sub, he's only had the 5, but Noah Cumberland just for 4 possessions. Mansell, he's up to 9 now, only going to get 40% efficiency. He's got himself a goal. Sonsi, he's only had the 12. Campbell's only had the 12. Brown's had the 12. So those young players who have been fairly effective over the last month have struggled on the big stage.
Back in the middle, a chance for Connor Nash, who tries to sock it off the ground. Can't get any purchase on it, though, as McIntosh knocks it out for Richmond. It's a hand pass back to Mansell. Hand pass to Taranto. Links up with Lawstone. Kicks in the middle of the ground. Richmond have the numbers out as Sonsi takes the mark at right half forward. Dustin Martin leads to the pocket. That's ignored against Sicily. Sonsi turns and comes inboard to Floston. On the run from 52. Loads up long towards Bolter from the side. Almost juggled the mark. Just couldn't hang on. Great desperate work from Frost. Got it out to Weddle for the Hawks. Hand pass to Hardwick. Drives a long kick up towards Warple, who takes the mark. Wedge between 2 Tigers, and they're on downhill here. Works it up to Bruce. He has Chol at centre half forward. Has 4 already this afternoon. He can pop it inside 50. Ginnivan all on his own. He's locked up by Broad because he has Dylan Moore on his own in the pocket. And now Jack Ginnivan might try and show the wizard how it's done.
Well, great transition there by the Hawks. I think it was Frost who was really desperate in that back pocket. Wanted the ball more than anybody else. Got a handball out. And there was 3 Tigers standing outside there forward 50. But none of them went close to Warple, who was the man who actually received the ball. And for men, it was just off to the races and which hawk was going to have a shot.
Jack Ginnivan with one already this afternoon. Around the body, doesn't have the purchase from around 35, 40 metres out. And it's rushed through on the goal line by Jacob Kazitsky. So it's always interesting when players go for that shot rather than the stock standard drop punt. Hawthorn by 49.
I say it's stupid, Clinchy.
You can say it.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's being a smart Alec. I pulled in.
You pulled in at the last second there.
Probably a good idea.
The ball comes out to centre wing. It's the Hawks, though, with the footy, with Mackenzie holding on to it. Kicks into the centre of the field. It's a 2-on-1. It's Richmond that wins out via McIntosh, who gets it away to Campbell. Hand pass towards Martin. Centre of the field, takes a bounce. Hand passes it away to Bolter, then gets it back from him. Here's Martin and the cheers of the crowd in his 300th. Kicks inside 50. Bolton can chase after it. Left forward pocket for Richmond. Tries to gather it. It's Newcombe, though, who can get there and win out for the Hawks. Turns around and puts himself in some space. Hand pass towards Nash. Right half back for Hawthorn. He'll be able to kick down the wing here to half forward. Go up in the direction of Deer. Can't mark. Bruce is there, putting the pressure on. Deer goes after it. It's taken by Kazitsky. Tries to hand pass it to Vlosten. Wants the free kick for being held. Doesn't get it. Back to Kazitsky. Will kick the Tigers to half forward now. It's all Hawks players around the ball, and one of them is James Sicily, who takes the mark at half back. His side leading by 49 points.
If I'm Adamuzzi, I'm almost saying to Dusty, hey, Dusty, just stay inside 50. Don't get outside 50. If we can get you a goal, at least it's going to give this 92,000 people something to cheer about towards the end.
He's starting to run out of time now as James Sicily marks centre wing. On the Shane Warne stand side, comes inboard to Jaff. Has it between wing and half forward. So the Hawks, having been winless in their opening 5 matches, they're about to make it 4 on the trot. As the Tigers take it back as Mansell comes inboard and Dustin Martin. The cheer from the Richmond faithful, so many of the 92,000 who have come to see him and say thank you for everything he's done. The 3-time Norm Smith medalist, the Brownlow medalist, the 7th Tiger to pass 300 games. To Noah Bolter inside 50, and the mark is taken by Tim Taranto, hugging it to his chest in the right forward pocket. And he might almost get the last kick of the match.
He's had a lot of it today. He's played a bit of a lone hand for the Tigers, up to 32 possessions of the goal. This will be goal number 2 if it goes through. Just needs some help in the midfield. Without Prestia, without Hopper, he needs some help through that midfield, and just didn't have it today.
32 disposals and a goal for Tim Taranto. Looking for a second on a 45-degree angle. He kicks across the face of goal, and it's rushed through for a minor score. The Hawks winless in their first 5 rounds. The young Hawks have flight. They spoiled Dusty's 300th, and they're now just outside the top 8. Hawthorn by 48 points.
We love our club and we play to win. Riding the bumps with a grin and Hawthorn. Come what may, you'll find us striving. Teamwork is the thing that talks. But for all and not for once, the way we play at Hawthorn, we are the mighty, mighty Hawks.
The biggest home and away crowd between Richmond and Hawthorn. A lot of them came for the Dusty show, but it's the Hawks who leave with the 4 points, having now won 7 of their last 9. And they're only 1 game outside the top 8. These Hawks have flight. 14-13, 97 to the Tigers, 6-13, 49. And while Dustin Martin kicked the opening goal of the match, it was the Hawks who took control from that point onwards.
We're a happy team at Hawthorn. We're the mighty fighting Hawks. We love our club and we play to win. Riding the bumps with a grin at Hawthorn. Come what may, you'll find us striving. Teamwork is the thing that talks. One for all and all for once, the way we play at Hawthorn. We are the mighty fighting Hawks.
The Hawks are now 7-7 as they head to the bye. The Tigers head to the bye as well. Dustin Martin getting plenty of hugs and support in the middle of the MCG. The Hawks led by 12 points at quarter time. They extended at each break by 19 at half time, by 44 at three-quarter time, and run out 48-point winners 14-13-97 to the Tigers 6-13-49 as Dustin Martin waves to the Hawthorn fans at the city end, and then he's going to run over to the Richmond fans on the Shane Warne stand side, waving at each section of the MCG like a showman who's thanking them for coming along to watch his efforts. The lone figure in the middle of the MCG as he waves to the Richmond fans at the punt road end and thumps the gold stripe on his chest. We don't hear a lot from him, but he is showing his appreciation for all those who have followed his journey, and the camera is following him around. I'm not sure if we'll get to hear from him given Hawthorn have prevailed, but the guard of honour is being set up. The two arms are outstretched as he's, like a tennis player, turned to every section of the MCG crowd to say thank you. Now, Nick, it's Jack Revolt who's wandered out, and Jules, just stand by here because I think we will get to hear from Dustin Martin.
With the chant. Not the result, but the occasion. How do you feel? They're chanting your name right now.
Yeah, mate, it's amazing. Disappointing result for the club, but I love the Tiger Army so much. I love the club so much. It means the absolute world to me. All the love I received this week has just meant the absolute world to me. So thank you everyone who sent me a message, social media, on the radio. I felt so loved this week. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it.
Mate, it's been a huge week. We haven't heard much from you. There's been a big build-up. People have been reminiscing over 299 games. How are you feeling at the moment?
Oh, I don't know. A little bit numb. It's been a surreal week. It really has. But yeah, I just appreciate everyone coming out tonight. It's meant the absolute world to me.
92,000, I'm going to go with predominantly Richmond supporters out here, came to pay tribute to you, mate. And it didn't take long. They've witnessed highlights, they've witnessed moments of your greatness over 299 games. 8 minutes into game 300 and you ran through 50 here and kicked one of the great goals of your career and the crowd went ballistic, mate. It must have been an unreal feeling.
Oh, it was the best. It was best. Old school. I loved it. Loved the crowd so much. Don't know what else to say. I love this club more than anything. And thank you again.
We've all been reflecting over the week. People go, oh, what's your best Dustin moment? What's your best Dustin moment at the G? I can remember a couple of my favourites are just left of us here, mate. 2017 when the siren went and myself, you and Sean Grigg hugged for the first time as premiership players. 2019, just right here, the final siren went, myself and you hugged again. One of the great moments, I think, of this Richmond club's history is when you took the opportunity to kick it to Marlon Pickett in his first game in the 2019 grand final to kick a goal. Each and every one of us, mate, has a favourite Dusty moment. What's your favourite moment at the G?
Oh, this is pretty special. There's too many. I've been so blessed throughout my whole career. It's been an unbelievable journey, and as I said, I don't really know what to say. I'm just so grateful for all the support. It's bloody awesome.
Well, I know you're not a man of the spotlight, but I will get you to start to walk over for the chair off, which I'm sure is probably something you've been dreading over the whole week. I speak on behalf of Richmond fans, of AFL fans, to say you've given us great joy, you've given us great pride. I want to quickly talk about your family, your mum Kathy, Bronson, Tyson, and of course your old man Shane. I can imagine right now he's looking down on you as one of the proudest fathers at his son that has gone on to play 300 games, be a champion of the football club, but ultimately be a great teammate. You must be thrilled to know that there's pride in this amazing arena and it's pride for you.
Yeah, as I said, I've been overwhelmed this week with all the support, and I really can't believe it. You really made me feel special and loved, and I can't thank everyone enough, everyone.
Now, before I let you jump on the shoulders of Toby Nankervis and Tom Lynch, it's an incredible day. You've given us an incredible ride so far, mate. Look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks against Freo.
Yeah, mate, freshen up for the bye and we'll see how we go.
There we go, fans. Dustin Martin, your champion.
Dustin Martin chatting there with Jack Riewoldt. And in classic Dusty fashion, he wrapped up the interview and decided that's enough. And he's launched onto the shoulders of Toby Nankervis and Tom Lynch with the right arm outstretched as he raves to the MCG faithful and so many of the Richmond diehard fans who have witnessed his 3 Norm Smith medal performances and led Richmond back into premiership success. It's a very rare side at the MCG. We're on a losing side. Everyone is standing and listening to every word in which he had to say. As Dustin Martin is slowly making his way from the MCG. His family have made their way down to ground level. There's a shot during that interview of Trent Cotchin, who is in the stands with his young child. A hug with his manager, and one last wave to the Richmond faithful as he heads down the race. And to think his side lost Hawthorn by 48 points. It's been quite a sight to see the Richmond faithful, 92,311 fans, all in awe once more of Dustin Martin.
The second biggest crowd between these two teams, the 91-446 2018 qualifying final, just happened to be Dusty's 200th game. And he had 29 and 10 clearances in that game, so a little bit of a different outcome today, but imagine if he goes on and plays 400, we'll have to build a bigger stadium.
Well, did you hear that little bit at the end of the interview? He said, we'll see how we go. We'll just have the bye and see how we go after that. So
there has been rumours around whether he might decide to retire after his 300th match, but I guess, like everything when it comes to Dustin Martin, we'll wait and we'll find out in due course.
Yeah, that would have been the really drop the microphone moment. Here at the MCG.
Well, Jason McCarthy, of course, remember, did it when he came back and played that one game, having suffered those horrific burns and the Bali bombings, and made that famous return and said, that's it, I'm out. And it was the last goal of the match sort of effort as well, which left everyone in awe. But the Hawks now join a string of teams who are just outside the 8. So the Western Bulldogs have the superior percentage in 8th position. They're 119.7. GWS yet to play, Gold Coast yet to play, Melbourne yet to play. The Demons, of course, they have the bye, a couple of them. So the Giants in 9th, the Suns in 10th, and Melbourne in 11th. The Hawks are up on 28 points now, joining them in 12th position, but a percentage of just 92.7.
Look, they're winning, and that's all they can do. 6 out of the last 7, 7 out of the last 9. It's winning form is good form. They've got a bye, then they play the Eagles. Then they play the Cats down at Cardinia Park, and that's going to be a big one. So I still think they need a bit of a scalp away from home in hard conditions, and then they play Fremantle down in Tasmania. So there's a chance that they'll certainly go into favourites 2 of those next 3 games. So that should potentially see them in the 8 at the pointy end of the season. So they're doing everything right. They lost the first 5 games of the year. Reminds me a little bit of a little team way back in 1997 that were 1-5 at the 6 game mark, and then went on to win, I think it was sort of 16 out of the next 17 games and play off in the grand final. Why can't the Hawks do that? Why can't they do it? There's no team. Sydney are dominant up the top, but everybody else has shown that they're fallible, they're susceptible, they can be beaten. So, if I'm a Hawthorn supporter and a Hawthorn player, I'm daring to dream big.
Hawthorn's first win against the Tigers since 2020, and they did so in a commanding fashion, winning by 48 points. And they've still got Mitch Lewis to return, who played in the VFL today. The Hawks had a win over the Tigers at Punt Road, and for the Brown and Gold, a chance to really take the bye, to reset, refresh, and, as he said, look towards making a charge towards September. And it's the versatility they have. Marbiel Chol with 4 goals this afternoon. They've just got an even spread of contributors, Cal Shadir, and then the older brigade with Sam Frost, Jack Gunston and Luke Bruce.
Yeah, I get the sense that Luke Bruce, whilst he's been that sub for 6 games in a row, it's not because he's the last man picked. Each week it's really strategic what they're doing with him, and understanding that maybe, just maybe, will be sort of when the whip's cracking right at the end of the season, we'll be thereabouts. What a bonus it would be to have a fairly fresh Luke Bruce to come in and play when it matters the most. So let's just nurse him through and unleash him when we need to. So smart move there by Sam Mitchell if that's what he's actually doing. But I love Weddle and Scrimshaw off that halfback line. We know what a good intercept defender that Sicily is. He's one of the best at it that I've ever seen. But when he doesn't get you, those blokes get you as well, and they're becoming really, really hard to score against. They only gave up the 6 goals today. Richmond were inaccurate with 13 behind, but a good finals team needs to know how to defend. And that 6 defenders that they've got back there are really turning into a really good, tight unit. If they can continue to grow as a unit, that is going to really stand in a good stead at the end of the season.
The Hawks eventually make their way off the MCG, having done their part with the guard of honour for Dustin Martin. We got to hear from him. I don't think I ran through the goal kickers. So 4 to Mabior Chol, 2 to Cal Shadir and 2 to Mackenzie. 1 goal 4 for Nick Watson in an afternoon that had a little bit of everything, including a couple of free kicks for over the shoulder. Individuals to Bruce, Moore, Ginnivan, McDonald and Newcomb. Meanwhile for the Tigers, a bit of a tough day for them with 6 goals 13. Individual goal kickers to Bolton, Kazitsky, Campbell, Mansell, Martin and Taranto. The Hawks winners by 48 points to move to 7 and 7 in 12th position on the AFL ladder and outside on percentage at the moment. And the Tigers are 2 wins and 12 losses. A crowd of 92,311 fans in to see Dustin Martin become the 7th Tiger to reach 300 games. As the Hawks make their way into their change rooms, our South Australian audience will depart very shortly. They're heading to Adelaide and Sydney, but let's go and join Ian Cohen.
You can hear them as they make their way in. The crowd is roaring. Plenty of brown and gold here at the moment. They're going to form up, and we're going to speak to Mabior Chol, the man that kicked 4 goals after the song has been sung. But loads of people in at the moment in the brown and gold, and they are just forming up and ready to go. Here goes the song.
Hawthorn winners by 48 points here at the MCG in the Dustin Martin 300th match. For our listeners through South Australia, we bid you farewell. You're off to Adelaide and Sydney. And for everyone else, we'll continue on for about another 9 minutes or so. We'll bring you a quick chat with Mabior Chol, and then we'll join the rest of our network across to South Australia. Nathan Burke, Mabior Chol, looking forward to hearing a bit from him as to how he's developed his game. Pretty solid contribution this afternoon.
Yeah, 4 goals. He only had the 7 possessions, which is not a lot, but very effective. 4 goals, 1. Had a couple of snaps around the corner on his left boot and a couple of big, strong marks. But the one I liked was the run-down tackle and just running it down, play from behind, getting a free kick, kicking a goal. That's something that he needs to get into his game because he is so athletic and he can't be just a forward who relies on taking marks. And get involved in the play, get a few handball received, get some ground balls, lay some tackles and become a real triple threat as a forward.
Let's head back down to Ian Cohen.
Mabior Chol's been kind enough to join us. Congratulations, obviously. Yourself, 4 goals on the MCG this evening.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously to kick those goals, but I think this year I've had a massive focus on my defensive stuff and trying to help team in other ways, but the last couple of weeks haven't really been hitting the scoreboard. So tonight to get 4, it's good and I'm very pleased with it, but I think as a club, today was just my go.
Which do you prefer, playing forward, getting in the ruck, being able to run?
I think this year I feel a lot fitter, so obviously forward and then pinch out in the ruck as well would be good, and it's something that that gets me around the game, and hopefully I could put more pressure on around the ball and use my skills as well going forward.
Just before we go upstairs to Nathan Burke, a former teammate of Dustin Martin, what did you think of today for Dusty and the celebration of 300?
Yeah, it's special. Obviously Dusty's done it for a long time and he's such a iconic to our game, and a lot of people do respect him, so for him to play his 300 and for me even to be a part of it is quite special, and it's something I probably won't forget.
Nathan Burke upstairs.
Marville, congratulations, mate. 4 goals and a really impressive win. The wagon keeps rolling on. Now, you've been to, this is your 3rd club. What's something that is unique to the Hawks that you haven't sort of witnessed before? And this is not sort of running down other clubs, just something unique to the Hawks that you've found.
I think, it's hard to put in words, but I feel like Hawthorn is such a family club, and for me to come in and really fit in, I feel like it's been a massive change. And I've got a coach that cares a lot about me. I've got players that really do care about me and who I am. So I feel like for that to happen and for me to be really happy around the club is just letting me play some really good football out there. So I'm super grateful to be on the Hawks.
Yeah, fantastic. And what sort of stuff do they do that make you feel comfortable?
I think they just embrace who you are. I think every club does it pretty well. Obviously, this is being my 3rd club. I feel so much comfortable where I'm at. And also, with Sam Mitchell and Adrian Hick as well as my full coach, they really do focus on my strength and, probably the less part of my weakness. So they're relying on me to bring my strength more often, and, everything else will take care of itself. So I'm super pumped.
Now, do you feel like a bit of a, you're not old, but a senior citizen? You've got Deere down there and a lot of other young fellas like Watson and these guys running around. Do you take a bit of a senior role as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm lucky to have Dunstan around me, and for me being around the league now, I feel like, I have to be a bit more mature. Obviously, I've got Dia and Watto, and also, Guinea, who's still pretty young, but very experienced as well at the game. But for me, just trying to show more leadership than, I would have not shown in the past, and to stay connected with the game and trying to help these young blokes, to get involved in the game. So I feel like that has really changed my game, and, I'm looking forward to keep carrying that.
Now, the Hawthorn supporters, I guarantee you are doing this, and the rest of the footy world is doing it as well, starting to have a look at the ladder. And they're doing the sums, and they're going, oh, can the Hawks sneak in there? And, oh, they're only a game out now, and all that sort of stuff. How much are you and the other players sort of looking at that final 8? And is it something that you've spoken about? Is it a goal, or are you just the old week at a time?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that, there's always going to be, outside the 4 walls, there's always going to be that that outside noise, with us playing finals and stuff. But I feel like Sam Mitchell and the coaching group has been really good, just trying to keep it, one game at a time, and everything else will take care of us itself. So, in our 4 wall, we're just trying to focus on, what we're good at and what we can bring every week. And I feel like, that's been working very well lately.
Mavior, it's Lauren Borden up here. CJ Jack plays 50th game today. It's taken him a long time to get there. He had a nice little goal celebration with him. But can you give us an insight into how much it meant for him? It may only be 50 games when you can compare it to Dustin Martin, but how much it meant for him to reach this milestone? Yeah,
it's special. I mean, CJ had to do it the hard way. I feel like, the last couple of years, injuries has really, let him down. But, us boys and, the football club, I've seen him how much he has worked to get his body right. And for him, to hit that milestone is quite special. And, I'm just super pumped to be his teammate and also his good friend. So to share the stage with him tonight, it's quite special. And I hope there's more to come for him.
Marbills, we'll let you go. 92,311 in the house, the 8th highest attended AFL home and away match of all time. Pretty cool to be a part of it all.
Yeah, it's special. Thanks to Dusty, for bringing all the crowd tonight. So, it's special, and I'm just super pumped with the win today.
And if you were to give one piece of advice to Nick Watson, what would you say with his set shots?
Just walk straight, kick straight, mate.
he might need a bit of that. Marbill, congratulations, you're on the run. Well done on the win and enjoy the bye.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your night.
Marbill Chol, after his 4 goals, the Hawks have now won 7 of the last 9. There's 7 wins and 7 losses. The votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year, Nathan Burke.
Yes, well, I'm going to sneak our guest, Marbill, in for one vote. He had the 4 goals, so no one else kicked more than 2. So 1 vote to Joel. I've given 2 votes to Sicily. He had 33 possessions and 15 marks, and he just controlled that half-back line. He was outstanding, and I thought his ball use today, kicking efficiency at 82%, was outstanding. And I've given Jai Newcomb 3 votes for 26 possessions. He had 11 score involvements, but what I love about him is he starts everything for the Hawks. He's possibly the best player below his knees in the league at the moment. He doesn't fumble. He picks the ball up on the run, handballs out to his Hawthorn runners, and away they go from there. So his work below his knees today and starting things off for the Hawks was outstanding. Plus he does all the tough stuff as well, 12 contested possessions. So 3 to Newcombe, 2 to Sicily, and 1 to Chol.
So the votes from Nathan Burke for the ABC Footballer of the Year. 2 quick questions as we go. Will the Hawks play finals in your eyes?
I haven't had a look at who they play coming up, but I hope they do. I hope they do. There's a lot of good teams still outside the 8 alongside them, and you expect Brisbane to get on a roll and Melbourne to get on a roll and all these other teams to get on a roll. So they've got some competition, but I hope they do.
And Dustin Martin was asked the question, you've got the bye, then the Blues, we'll see you in a fortnight's time. He said, yeah, mate, freshen up for the byes and see how we go. What do you think that meant?
He'll see out the season. He's still good enough to play, and he's fit enough to play. But it's whether the heart is in it, whether he can drive to Punt Road, get in there and do all the stuff that you need to do to play. I get the sense it reminds me a lot of Plugger. If Plugger could just turn up each weekend and play footy and not put up with all the other garbage that went on, he'd play forever and a day.
Yep, same as Lance Franklin as well. So the Hawks winners by 48 points here at the MCG. Thanks to Nathan Burke for carrying the team. A cheerio to Brent Harvey, who said you did a good job. Thanks to Ian Cohen down on the boundary, to Lauren Borden, to Jules at the back with all the buttons, and to Melissa back in the studio. We're off to the Adelaide Oval. It's the Crows trying to deliver Sydney just their second loss of the season. The challenge is in front of them, in front of their home crowd, Adelaide and Sydney, as round 14 of the AFL continues. Wasn't to be from Dusty Martin. Good night from the MCG.